I'm Doug Brown. The baseball scoreboard on opening day. The first final of the new season. The Yankees shut out the Giants 5-0. New captain Aaron Judge homers in the first inning. He drives in 2. Garrett Cole with 6 scoreless innings. He allowed only 3 hits and 11 strikeouts for the Yankees. Elsewhere, the Braves lead the Nationals 4-2 in the 9th. The Rays have a 1-0 lead on the Tigers in the 4th. For the first time, the World Series champion Astros raise the banner in Houston and host the White Sox tonight. Coverage of that game at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and radio. For the first time since 2006, the Sacramento Kings are in the playoffs. Head coach Mike Brown.
When you have a collective group of people that like each other and that are good people, well, a lot of good things can happen. And so these guys will work together. They'll get a lot better, and they will always compete when we step out on the floor. That's what you can expect.
Mike Brown, the Kings sit 3rd in the Western Conference. Indiana's Terry Morin is the AP Women's Coach of the Year.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Start spreading the news. First homer of 2023. First win of 2023. Go to the eventual World Series champion New York Yankees. How you feel about that, Muse? You fired up about them Yanks? Go Yanks!
Yeah, all the way to the ALCS. Well, they'll probably lose again.
Nah, man. Verlander is Met now, so he'll blow out.
He's
stink.
also on the injured list.
Yeah, he'll stink. He'll blow out. He'll stink. So that's part of the Edwin Diaz is already out. I mean, look, this is done. I mean, Dunzo already. Just give him the trophy. 28. Let's get it. All right, it's after further review. Just a massively anticipated series is going to get underway tonight at the box with LSU and Tennessee. I'll get to that here in about 12 minutes from right now. I'll give you a big thumbnail on that series. We'll laugh at Scott Kushner next hour because he's a Tennessee guy. We'll also talk some Pels as they take on Denver tonight. And Kendall Rogers in hour 3. So we got tons of baseball to get to today, and we're going to do it. We'll give Muse, Paulie, and I will give our as is customary, our preseason Major League picks. We'll pick the division winners, the AL, NL winner, and a World Series, and we'll come back at the end of the season and laugh at ourselves at how wrong we are. LSU football, let's start there. LSU football is back on the practice field today. Brian Kelly did announce that Gerald Chapman is filling in this spring as the defensive line coach for Jamar Cain, who, of course, we know was hired by Sean Payton to be the new defensive line coach for the Denver Broncos. So Gerald Chapman has a good opportunity to audition here. He was on staff in an off-field role under Ed Ogeron. He, when Brian Kelly didn't retain him, he spent a year at Tulane, was at Colorado prior as well when Coach Prime was hired there. Now he'll be back. He's back at LSU, and he's got a great opportunity. So Gerald Chapman will be the interim defensive line coach during spring, and then ultimately Brian Kelly will make that hire after spring when he can properly vet all the candidates he's considering. A couple of tidbits from today's practice as the Tigers are back on the practice field this morning. There was a little bit of good news as Miles Frazier was back out there. Of course, Miles Frazier is going to be counted on to be a starting offensive lineman. Came in last year from FIU as a transfer, was really impactful both at guard and tackle for the Tigers. and ended up being a starting player for them by the end of the season. He had been missing, and again, with all of the defections on the offensive line in the transfer portal, they're low on numbers. So getting Miles Frazier back was good. There were a couple of absences defensively today. Denver Harris and J.K. Johnson were both out today, and it caused some shuffling in the secondary. Let me first let you hear from Brian Kelly talking about Frazier's return, though. This is number 7 news from today. Brian Kelly on Miles Frazier.
Yeah, he's had a good week. He was back in the rotation today, so missed a little bit of time, but I think it was just a small hiccup in his development. So kind of stepped right in there, didn't even notice he had been out.
Okay, so that's great. Totally minor, didn't matter. We say it all the time about spring. The most important part of spring football is get through spring football healthy. Look around college football. Every single day, you'll see stories of players being injured in spring practice. We're going to do around the SEC coming up in a little bit. Georgia, former 5-star freakish defender, defensive lineman, done for the rest of spring with an injury. They hope to have him back in time for the fall. But again, the most important thing in spring is just be healthy. Don't suffer any injuries or setbacks and have people ready to go. Mention the secondary. And first of all, we've seen a lot of guys bounce around because of these injuries so far in spring. Brian Kelly did talk about structuring. This is 3. He talked about structuring practice and how they're doing it given all of the injuries that they have.
We've been very, I think, deliberate in terms of the way we've gone about our practice schedule, but it functioned very similar. I think we probably have chopped maybe 10, 15 minutes off of a normal schedule, but have done everything that we normally would do. I think we've just abbreviated it a little bit. I think Brad's been really good in terms of making sure that, his focus has been, technique oriented more so than a heavy dose of contact. And so I think that's worked out pretty good. So, going into this weekend, I think we're in a pretty good position where we're, rotating too deep.
So they're making it through, not as contact oriented, assessing as they need to as they go along, which is fine. They're also using this opportunity to get a lot of guys reps in different spaces. Freshman Javen Toviano is one of them, who they have moved him so far in this spring all around. This is the benefit of having an early enrollee. Like, spring is worthless for players who are established. Jaden Daniels does not need spring football. When I think about Harold Perkins, when I think about Greg Brooks, they don't need spring football. They're established players. They're great players already. You just need them to be healthy. It's not to say you can't improve. It's not to say you don't ever need practice. My point is, this is an opportunity for guys who are either first-time starters to get their feet wet, to be ready they're jogging now so they can sprint when fall camp begins, or for guys to at least establish themselves in a pole position for when camp begins, when they're trying to win a job. That's true spring value. So you look at Javen Toviano, freshman, early enrollee. That's a guy that needs spring. He can make strides in spring, so when fall comes around, they have a better sense of where they want to use him and how he can best fit in to this defense. So here is Brian Kelly on the freshman defensive back.
Yeah, he's playing some nickel for us right now and some safety, so he's a guy that has that flexibility. We'll play him a little bit at corner here in the last week, going into the last week, but right now he's the guy that we have singled out as playing a little bit of nickel and safety.
Nickel and safety. He's going to play a little bit of corner and see how that all works out. Remember, there's no Deuce Chestnut this spring. When J.K. Johnson and Denver Harris were both absent from practice today. So your cornerback room is even thinner. You saw Zy Alexander and LaTerrence Welch run as the first-team cornerbacks today. So when you look at Toviano, that's a guy you could say, all right, well, let's see how you do on the outside. Let's see how you look in the nickel. Remember, you could Sage Ryan, who primarily has been a nickel, can also play safety, but has primarily been a nickel. But Greg Brooks last year was your starting nickel. Well, does Greg Brooks kick back and play safety? Joe Fouche's gone. Jay Ward is gone. You've got Major Burns back. So is it Major Burns and Greg Brooks back at safety? To say Ryan kick back? These are the questions that you can tinker with in spring. So it's a great benefit to do that. And then with Harris and Johnson out at the cornerback state, it was a great opportunity for Zy Alexander and for LaTerrence Welch to take first-team reps at cornerback. I'm going to tell you this. Y'all know I've been bullish on LaTerrence Welch here. Not necessarily because of anything we've seen on the field, but because I love the dude's attitude. I think he certainly has the physical ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't be at LSU. And I know a lot of the coaches really like him a lot. They're waiting for him to take that next step. And that's a dude who he's going to have a ton of competition at that spot this year, but would have given an arm to play at LSU, which is why he's here. When everybody else transferred after the season, he could have gone, he stayed. And he's going to battle for a job with a bunch of dudes they brought in who were also very highly regarded and have been starters at other places. But when you look at the experience at corner, we're looking at a lot of talented players. We've talked about this a bunch, but Denver Harris is a former 5-star. He's played in 5 career games. Played in 5 games for A&M this year. That's it. J.K. Johnson, 2 years at Ohio State, played in 15 games total, combined over 2 years. Deuce Chestnut, he's been a 2-year starter at Syracuse, played in 24 games. Zy Alexander's been a 3-year guy at Southeastern. He's played in 30 games. So those guys have had a lot of experience. But Harris and Johnson don't have a ton of experience. I mean, LaTerrence Welch in one season played in 13 games. He played in all 13 games a year ago for LSU. Not much of it on defense, a lot of special teams, but he's been out on the field. And he's been here, maybe most importantly, working with this coaching staff and in this defense. So I feel like for LaTerrence Welch, a really big opportunity this spring. One more, because everybody's interested. So whenever Brian Kelly says it, we're going to listen, because everybody wants to hear about Harold Perkins. And it's very clear how they see Harold Perkins. And it's not at the jack position that he was at a season ago.
Yeah, we want him playing linebacker. We got him on the field last year in an accelerated role based upon the fact that there was just too much for him to digest. And we didn't want to get in the way of too much meant paralysis by analysis, right? So I thought Matt did a great job of making things a lot smoother for him so we could get him on the field and let him play fast. Now it's time to take the whole, position and, teach it. So, he's a linebacker. He's going to play linebacker, and he's fully invested in that position. So you'll see him playing linebacker for us.
I love it. Go be Devin White. And this is a great opportunity to really dig deep into there with guys like Baskerville gone and Mike Jones gone. And the door's open. So go kick it in, kid. All right. I want to circle back a bit later in the show. As a matter of fact, I got on the rundown to start hour 3. I want to talk about replacing Jamar Cain. I want to talk about Gerald Chapman. We're going to go a little bit deeper into that, again, to start hour number 3. Let me knock out our first break of the show. When we come back, I'll give you a thumbnail on the series that gets underway tonight at the box. LSU, Tennessee. We'll talk a little bit about the Vols, and we'll start to dig into the series. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. You can always get them at nolaflooring.com. Remember, 2 locations. The Metairie location, hence New Orleans Flooring, and Airline Highway in Prairieville. Some people ask, New Orleans Flooring in Prairieville? Yes, New Orleans Flooring in Prairieville. Can't miss it. Blue sign. Heading south on Airline, you pass Walmart, it's on the right, you can't miss it. The great thing about New Orleans Flooring, there's many great things. You'll get the great service from Big Sean and Terrell and the great people over there. Steve, their whole gang are awesome. But most importantly, you're going to get amazing pricing. And by the way, today and tomorrow are the last days to take advantage of their tax-free March. They already give you 30, 40% discounts on flooring because they cut out the middleman. And all this month, throughout March, they're paying the state sales tax as well. It's a tax-free March. Well, there's only 2 days left, today and tomorrow. It's at New Orleans Flooring. Get on by and see them online, nolaflooring.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We have zero complacency on this team in terms of they know what they need to do to prepare well, and you got guys like Paul and Gavin Dugas and Dylan that really know how to prepare and have set a good model for that. And I think, we're not going to stay in the tank long either, because the game's hard. They understand it. They understand how to get up from failure within the middle of the game or after a game, and that's a good thing, and that's a good sign.
That was Jay Johnson. The 2006 LSU football team was awesome. My opinion, they were better than the 2017. Many would share that opinion. 4 first-round draft picks. That at the time was an LSU record. Then, of course, the 2019 team came along. But you had Jamarcus went first overall. LaRon, which went 6th overall. Debo, Buster Davis. That's just the first-round picks. That's not even including other freak shows. Glenn Dorsey was an All-American on that team. You had Early Doucette. You had guys like Jacob Hester. Keelan Williams broke out in 2006. You were a deep, talented football team that lost 2 games in really disappointing fashion on the road against great SEC opponents. You blew out Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. Not that you need the history lesson. Many of you remember it, but you fast forward to 2007, which was a great team in its own right. Don't misunderstand me. But they lost 2 games also. But breaks fell their way. They got a chance to play for a championship, and they won it. So history will remember 2007. It won't remember 2006 because they didn't win a championship, even though they might have been the better team. And both were great. When I look at last year's Tennessee baseball team, they were a juggernaut. Tennessee baseball will never field a team as good as the one a year ago. they will possibly win a championship somewhere along the way. Whatever team that is that comes along will not be as good as the Tennessee team a year ago. Y'all, they were 57-9. They were 25-5 in the SEC. Chase Dolander won SEC Pitcher of the Year. Beam won Freshman of the Year. Vitello won Coach of the Year. Gilbert, Lipscomb, Dolander were all first-team All-SEC. They led the SEC in batting average, slugging, on-base percentage, runs, hits, RBI, doubles, triples, homers, total bases, hits, walks. As far as the pitching staff, they were number one in the league in ERA, opponent's batting average, innings pitched, strikeouts, fewest runs, fewest doubles, fewest walks, fewest wild pitches, fewest hit by pitch. You get the point. They were awesome. They were by a mile the best team in college baseball a year ago, period. And they threw up on themselves in a home super regional. Happens. It happens. Tip your hat to Notre Dame. Weren't intimidated, played great, won it. Link Jarrett was like, thanks, deuces, I'll go to Florida State now. Cool. Good on you, bro. Tennessee will never be that good again. Ever. But that doesn't mean this Tennessee team isn't good. It doesn't mean this Tennessee team isn't good enough to win a national championship or beat anyone on the schedule. Because they are. Now, they're a very different team than a year ago. When you look at Tennessee baseball from a season ago and the guys that played against LSU in the SEC Championship, that played in that Super Regional, they're basically all gone. The position players. Mentioned, of course, Drew Gilbert, first-team All-SEC. That was an All-American. He's gone. Lipscomb is gone. It's first-team All-SEC. He's gone. The guys who return, look, I mean, Christian Moore is Tennessee's leading hitter right now. He's batting 360. A year ago, Moore played in 51 games, but started 29 times and hit 305. Very good player. He was 1, 2, 3. He was 6th on the team in batting average. Dude hit 305, and he was 6th on the team in batting average. They were filthy. Jordan Beck is gone. You return guys who got some playing time a year ago, but it's very comparable. Tennessee a year ago offensively, very comparable to what this LSU team is. You are so deep and you are so talented that you have great players that you're struggling to find at-bats for them. Like, Braden Joubert damn near hit 20 bombs last year, and he's not in the everyday lineup. I mean, Josh Stevenson is a very capable SEC player. Could we agree on that? Like, that dude would be starting a lot of places. Dude can't get on the field. He's basically a pinch runner and a defensive replacement. Milazzo's hitting 400 right now. We've talked about him as pop time, as defensive. Like, he's basically a late-inning defensive replacement and a midweek starter. I mean, this LSU team, offensively, and by the way, they lead the nation in fielding percentage, they are comparable to what Tennessee was a year ago. There are no easy outs in that lineup. They hit 1 through 9. They are going to bludgeon a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of days you go to the park, you turn on the TV, and you watch this LSU team, and you just know, man, you're just here for the light show. I would also flip it and say, as good as LSU's pitching has been this year, Tennessee's been better. They got a better rotation, which has been more consistent, and they certainly have a better bullpen right now than LSU does. Is Paul Skeens capable of going out tonight, giving you 7 innings, striking out 12, and leaving the game, LSU having a 3-1 lead? Yeah, absolutely he's capable of that. Is Chase Dolander capable of completely handcuffing this LSU offense? Yes, he absolutely is. Could you see would it be stunning tomorrow if we sat here and we're talking about like a Faedo Lang game from 2017 that was the LSU Florida game that was 1-0? Wouldn't shock me at all. can LSU's bats go perform against the best arm they will have faced up to this point all year, and maybe the best arm they face all season? We're about to find out. I am very comfortable handing the ball to Paul Skeens and saying, go do against this Tennessee lineup what you've done against basically everybody all year. Skeens is... we kind of talk about Skeens in the same way that we're going to talk about Dylan Cruz. It's just you're going to run out of adjectives. It feels hyperbolic, but it's true. Skeens has 71 strikeouts in 37 and a third innings pitched. I'm going to say that again. He's got 71 strikeouts in 37 and a third innings pitched. He's averaging almost 2 strikeouts per inning pitched. That's stupid. Dolander, the reigning SEC pitcher of the year, has 53 strikeouts and 34 and a third innings pitched, which is amazing in and of itself. And Skeens has 18 more strikeouts in 3 more innings pitched. It's just bonkers. Now, Burns, Floyd is interesting because you got 2 really good pitchers. We mentioned Beam, who was the SEC Freshman of the Year a year ago, going in Game 3 against Thatcher Hurd. We'll talk about that tomorrow when we find out what the result is of this game and how the weekend looks as you set it up. But you were looking at a Tennessee team which has been more consistent on the bump. Their bullpen is certainly better. But you're looking at an LSU offense that is undeniably better than Tennessee's at this point, and you have who I believe is the best pitcher in college baseball taking the ball for you in front of a crowd which will look and feel like a regional atmosphere. Last week, Jay Johnson said that he had never seen an atmosphere like that before with LSU Arkansas. Wait until this weekend. Every game, even though it's Thursday, even though there's a lot going on, all 3 games are going to be packed. It is rare, even when you get great series and great matchups, and we've seen them. Ranked teams from Florida coming in, Vanderbilt. We've seen first-round projected picks and starting pitchers. We've seen a lot of it over the years. We've been really fortunate as fans to see a lot of great games, great pitching matchups, great theater. This just feels different for a lot of reasons. And I think it's going to play out over these 3 days at the box to where we're going to be treated to great theater. And we say it often, but it's true. One of the reasons why we remember, and we've talked about so much over the past several weeks, that Nola-Gray matchup from the 2013 Supers. One of the reasons we talk about it so much is because we built it up so much leading up to it, and it delivered. So seldom do things that get hyped actually deliver on the amount of hype. That game did. Let's see if this series does this weekend with LSU and Tennessee. 7 o'clock first pitch tonight out at Alec Box Stadium. You'll hear all 3 games on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Tonight on ESPNU, Friday on the SEC Network, and then the Saturday game, which is a 1 o'clock first pitch on SEC Network Plus streaming only. So number 1 LSU against number 10 Tennessee should be a really fun matchup as the Vols come in at 3-3 in conference play. They were swept by Missouri. They, in turn, swept Texas A&M. LSU, as we know, 1-2 out of 3 against A&M, 1-2 out of 3 against Arkansas. And we'll try to make it 3 series in a row if they can take care of business at home this weekend against the Vols. Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball will be here in hour number 3. As he is each Thursday, we'll get his full thoughts on LSU and Tennessee. And excited to see this one go down tonight. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's a 1-hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Preseason AC tune-up. Y'all, I tell you every day, and they don't keep this special forever. It's the preseason AC tune-up. Call River City's 1-hour air. Have one of their technicians come out to the house. Make sure that your Home Central AC is clean and running efficiently for the coming warm weather. In time, this will save you money. It'll extend the life of your unit, and they'll save you $25 off the cost of the preseason AC tune-up if you just mention the show. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $25 off the price. Love sharing 5-star Google reviews. This one from C. Tyler 15, who said, Darren was on time and efficient. He explained everything in a manner I could understand. Great experience. Thanks, River City's 1-hour air. another 5-star Google review, and yours could be next. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Muse.
What's up, Scott?
Have you ever kind of geeked out when you realized somebody was following you on Twitter? Like you get the notification like, oh my God, that person's following? That's cool.
I don't think so. No, actually, that hasn't happened yet.
So nobody cool follows you on Twitter?
I guess not.
That's a shame. That happened to me yesterday. I looked down, and Stefan Lassard is following me on Twitter. It might be Stefan Lassard. I'm not exactly sure. Stefan or Stefan. He's the bassist for the Dave Matthews Band.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I was talking, shout out Brian Rodriguez from GatorWorks. We're at the Guaranteed Leadership Retreat this weekend. And he was, I don't know how we got to talking about, probably because Flynn Foster was like DJing outside playing 90s music. And Brian told me the story about a tweet that Stefan Lassard put out where he was the Dave Matthews Band was playing a concert, and Lassard was at the airport the next day with a DMB tour like hoodie on. And somebody comes up and is like, oh, man, were you at that show too? Saw him last night. Were you at that show too? He's like, yeah, I was at the show, yeah. And so anyway, he took a picture of it and and tweeted like himself in the hoodie. Anyway, so I went and followed and retweeted it, and I'll be darned. Check it out. Look, you want to pull this up? Oh, look, Stephon Lassard follows you.
I don't think he has
Oh,
to
you can't scream.
Yeah. I believe you, though, Matt. Look, I'll take your word for it. I'll vouch for you. I'll back you up.
I mean,
if
it's
anyone
right here.
doubts you.
Go.
Yeah, but nobody can see it except for you.
I got an idea. Go to Twitter, click
There
following,
you
and then
go.
you'll see it right there.
There you
It's
go.
like it was just yesterday. It's right there.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I'll have to go look. No, nobody comes to mind like top of my mind, so I'd have to go back and maybe look. But
Hey,
I don't-
Terrio, I have one of our guest pickers for next year already lined up. That's happening. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. It's always great when you get to sit right behind home plate, but sometimes you're in the outfield, you're down third baseline. If you want to see perfectly without contacts or glasses, Williamson Eye Center can help. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Schedule that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson at 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. It has changed my life, literally, to be able to wake up in the morning and just see, to not have to mess with contacts or glasses ever again, and to see better than 2020. It is possible. It's happened for me. The Williamson Eye Center, more than 70 years, 3 generations of Williamsons. Dr. Blake Williamson carrying the baton right now. Check him out today at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama freshman forward Brandon Miller, the number 3 prospect in ESPN's latest mock draft, has announced he is entering the 2023 NBA draft. Should come as no surprise whatsoever. Miller, a 6'9" All-American, considered to be the top college prospect in the draft class. He emerged. It's he and a G League Ignite guard, Scoot Henderson, kind of 1-2, sitting there for the number 1 overall pick. So Brandon Miller, it is official, entering the NBA draft.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel has landed a quarterback commitment for the class of 2024 after Nico Imaliava. Am I saying it right? Did I nail it? Nico?
Nico, sure.
You don't know which one? This is the guy who got like the $8 million NIL deal. Nico?
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name either.
Not gonna work here anymore, I'll tell you that much. Samir not gonna... Nine in a jar? Why is it's not that hard? Not eating in a jar. Nine in a jar. Anyway, Nico signed this year, and now they got their quarterback for the 2024 class. 4-star Jake Merklinger. Why can't they get a normal name quarterback? Merklinger.
Milton.
Milton. Coming in now. Now. Milton, another Office Space
that
reference.
Is another Office Space.
Do you see my stapler?
I need you to move your desk, Milton.
6'3", 190-pounder, 5th best pocket passer. Milton, we fixed the glitch. So Milton has been fired. No. We fixed the glitch. He just won't be receiving a paycheck anymore. What a way to fire someone. You don't tell them they're fired. You just stop cutting them a paycheck. Like, grow a pair and tell them they're fired. Anyway, okay, so Tennessee got a quarterback.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Mikael Williams, rising sophomore, one of the top players in the country a year ago. He was actually the number 20 overall prospect in last year's signing class. He's going to miss the rest of spring with a foot injury. He led Georgia, as a true freshman, with 31 quarterback hurries. 6'5", 265-pound rising sophomore, did start 2 games last fall, but he will be on the shelf for the remainder of spring. They hope to have him back for the start of fall. All right, let's quickly run through some baseball scores in the SEC and look ahead at the schedule. So last night there were a couple of games in the league. Missouri went on the road to St. Charles, Missouri, and beat Lindenwood 7-5. How about the fall for the University of Georgia after a fast start this year? They are now 15-10 on the season. They got blown out at home yesterday by Georgia Southern, 12-2 at Foley Field. Just keeps getting worse there for the Bulldogs. Today, as you know, of course, LSU, Tennessee. Also tonight on the SEC Network, Mississippi State 0-6 in league play. They host South Carolina 6-0 in league play. Holy moly. Could bad get worse for the Bulldogs and Chris Lemonis? We'll see starting tonight. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. They service all of the Gulf Coast region. So even if you're outside of Louisiana, if you need office equipment solutions, Gulf Coast Office Products can help. They are a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. A little bit of breaking news here before we go to break in just a moment. This from Adam Schefter. The Saints have lost another defensive lineman. The Eagles are signing former Saints defensive tackle Kentavious Street. Street had 6 sacks for the Saints last year in the 518 snaps he played. So he joins Justin Evans as the second Saints free agent to leave New Orleans for the Eagles. And, of course, that is now the third defensive tackle leaving the Saints in free agency. David Onyemata is in Atlanta. Shai Tuttle to Carolina. Now Kentavious Street is headed to the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. So more work for the Saints to do, of course, on that defensive front. All right, y'all. It is after further review. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1. When we come back, today is Major League Baseball opening day. I have some business to attend to, and we shall do that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You can always go to rouses.com. I tell you what, I really think this is a great night to swing by Rouse's, get some crawfish. Baseball at the box. If you're not going to the box, and I'm not, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go home tonight. There's a Rouse's right by my house, though, Long Farm Rouse's there on Airline right at Antioch. Swing in there, grab me some crawfish, maybe a 6-pack of beer, head to the house, eat some crawfish, drink some beer, sit outside, watch the Tigers whip up on the Vols. That sounds like a pretty good night if I were to paint the picture myself. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You want live crawfish? They got you. Boiled crawfish, boiled fresh in-house every single day. Great seafood options in their seafood market, both fresh and prepared options for Friday and Lent. Do that tomorrow. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A follow-up now to a questionable grass-cutting contract first exposed by the WBRZ investigative unit last month. The State Office of Juvenile Justice severed that contract following our reports. State ethics laws are in place from employees getting state contracts at their workplace, but the investigative unit showed you the Good Old Boy Network was alive and well. Hear why the contract was canceled and what happens now. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Chuilli have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You know what? I actually think this would just be a great way to start this segment. Muse, you can't take this audio, can you? Can you take the audio? Okay, we can take the audio. We can't take video. Okay, ready? Go. No? Awesome. Sounds great.
All I could. That's
fired up that things work. All right, never mind. I was going to play you Aaron Judge hitting a home run. Would you please get that audio for later in the show?
Sure.
Aaron Judge hit a home run today in his first at-bat of the season. Yankees win the first final of the 2023 season. Yankees blank the Giants 5-0, which means I'm already inching closer to catching Mack Chuilli in this year's Bourbon Bet. Mack, the founder, president, CEO of Traction Sports, all-around good guy, but devastatingly poor life choice in that he's a Cubs fan, like the nerd who was on before me and the nerd who's coming on after me. Mack, how are you?
How's it going, Sconey, man? Look, before you get too excited,
Yep.
The Cubs just shut out the Brewers, too, so we're still even. Big
Whatever. We're actually not even, I guess, because you get like 27 games because the Cubs stink.
Not true. 16, I think, is the number.
All right, so every year, Mac and I have our we called it a bourbon bet initially, but it's sort of evolved because you don't want bourbon. You want me to get you like expensive tequila if you win, right?
Yes, I'm the tequila guy. You're the bourbon guy.
All right, so a bourbon tequila bet. Basically, I get the Yankees, Mac gets the Cubs, and we look at the preseason win totals, and essentially you get the variance. So the Yankees are projecting, we looked at DraftKings, so these are the official numbers we're going with, right?
That's right, yep.
All right. Yankees were projected to win 93.5 games. That was their over-under. The Cubs are terrible, and so they were projected to win 77.5 games. So I'm terrible at math. Mac, you get 16 games, is that right?
That is correct. I get 16 this season.
All right, give me a reason why you actually feel like I've gone a little bit of a heater here with the Yanks. Give me a reason why you might feel optimistic about this one.
Well, I'm excited about the Cubs this season. You know, after we won that World Series, which is the last one that has been won between the Yankees or the Cubs, you know, we got some young guys. We got some free agents this year.
That's what you're hanging your hat on? You go a century without winning nothing. Today's world, the Yankees are the reigning division champions. They won 100 games a year ago, or just shy of 100 games a year ago. They were in the ALCS. They got the reigning MVP, and the Cubs stink. That's today's world.
It's like I tell my 11-year-old baseball team, we don't need rings for fourth place.
That's fine.
Don't get rings.
I don't want a ring. All I care about is number 28. I ain't saying that, but you're saying living in today's world. Well, in today's world, my team's favored to win 93 games, and yours is favored to win 16 less. Your guys stink.
Hey, look, let's talk. This is about the end of the season.
All right.
Right? So I feel very confident this season that I'm going to have a bounce-back season. The Cubbies are going to win. Mm-hmm. We're going to win 85 games. Y'all are going to win, 88. You might have a better record, but it won't even be close when this game's over.
Wait, you honestly think the Cubs are going to win 85 games?
I mean, not honestly, but I'm rooting for it.
Well, if the Cubs get to 85, you're going to win this bet this year.
That's right.
If the Cubs get to 85 and you're +8 over their total, I don't see the Yankees getting to 102 wins. Yeah. That would be a hell of a heavy lift to get there. So God bless you if the Cubs do get to 85 wins. It's just not going to happen because they stink. And it's just what happens. The Cubs stink, and they'll always stink.
Gosh, man, I don't have to sit here and take this, Matt. We gotta. I can't take 162 games of this, but I do text you constantly throughout the season to tell you, how many back we are.
I know. I do. And by the way,
last year at the All-Star break, I was already down 30 games, which was pretty embarrassing.
And then the Yankees took a month and just decided they were just going to take about a month-long siesta and then turn it on late. But I do recommend this, though, Mac, like for anybody listening, if the thought of a 162 game schedule is daunting and following it, this is a fun way to do something with your friends, like to keep you engaged in a season-long type bet. If you're interested in such things, like this has been a fun way for, like, we've done this like 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been great because it's been waves. Like, it hasn't been a back and forth thing. I won 3 or 4 years in a row, and then you won 3 or 4 years in a row. So it's kind of wild.
It has been. Mack Chuilli over at Traction MC. What's going on, man? I know y'all got the baseball and the performance camps coming up for Easter week. Tell folks a little bit about those two things for if they got kids or looking, for what they're going to do during Easter week.
Yeah, so over spring break, we always hold our Easter baseball camp. Cressy and the boys do a great job of taking the little guys and letting them have some fun playing baseball and learning, proper mechanics and things like that. It's just a fun camp for kids, and a baseball camp's for young kids, ages, 5 to 10 years old. And then obviously young Tev, what we call him young Tevin Moten, does our speed camps, man. And that's obviously for a little bit more advanced athletes who are working to get faster, stronger. It's a lot of teaching of how, to run properly, sprint mechanics, how to change directions. And it's great for, athletes that don't get a chance to train on a regular basis, can go in, over these breaks and learn a lot and take it back with them to their high school programs or whatever it is to help them get faster. Speed kills in every sport. It's something I've preached forever and ever and ever. You can have all the skills in the world that you want, but man, speed is the one thing that separates athletes in every sport.
Hey, man, I want to ask you real quick. Yesterday was LSU's pro day, and I shared this story yesterday on air. So, Mac, I guess it was maybe 9-10 years ago. I told the example of Jarvis, and Jarvis went to the combine, didn't run real fast. He came and trained with you at Traction. I guess that would have been the 2014 draft, and I mean he went from like a 4.7 to like a 4.5 or something like that.
Exactly.
I want your thoughts on Kayshawn, because a lot of people are wondering about that. Like, from a guy who was so fast, so explosive, do you think, I don't know if you know, but like, is his injury maybe part of the reason that he just hasn't really returned to that form? Because, man, running that 4.7 yesterday, I think, or at the combine, surprised a lot of people, and his decision not to run at pro day.
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't run again at pro day, because normally you have a little time between the combine and pro day. I know they didn't have a lot of time this year, but yeah, man, it could be anything. It could be anything from an injury that hasn't allowed him to continue to sprint at full speed. I always say that if you can't, in order to run fast, you have to run fast, right? So, there's no way to learn how to run faster without attempting to run fast. So if you're injured or you're constantly, moving at a slow pace, you're going to lose, that explosiveness and that speed. And I guess, over years of injuries and not being able to go full speed, you will lose speed, man. And that's always going to be a question. But, once you're fast, you can normally get it back when you're healthy. So I'm just hoping that teams recognize that, he might be a little bit, out of shape or injured or whatever, but he does have the ability. He's not an old man, right? Like me and you. We won't ever be fast again, but Kayshawn will be fast.
Wait. Again, I was never fast to begin with, dog. I mean, like, I think in high school I was running like a 5.6. I mean, so let's not get it twisted, bro. I was never fast. Speaking of fast, you like the pitch clock in baseball?
All right. I'm going to go on a little rant here. I love the pitch clock.
Yeah! We finally agree on something.
I have a lot of good friends and lifer baseball guys that complain, and it absolutely drives me crazy, because these are the same guys that don't want to play clock in football and don't want a shot clock in basketball. It's just, you want to watch guys just huddle up for 20 minutes before they run a play because it's strategic, and I'm doing the air quotes right there. Like, it drives me crazy. I absolutely love it. I think it keeps the game going. I think there's no reason for guys that have to have 30 seconds between stepping into the box and out of the box, or pitchers to walk around the mound and shake off 41 times. And Like, I just think it's great. I think the players need to adapt the same way, guys had to learn to shoot in 24 seconds, and also how guys in the NFL had to learn to call plays in faster. I think it'll take a little bit. People will be mad at first, but it's going to help the game tremendously in the long run.
Rafael Devers was the first player to be called out on a pitch clock violation. Muso's. And by the way, Muso's one of the nerds that hates the pitch clock. He likes wasting 30 minutes of his day watching dudes stand around.
Yeah, please let everybody know that they're not changing the game at all, and it's that all of the time that's being taken away is not baseball. It's not even a part of the game. Nothing is happening that's getting taken away from the game.
He is Mack Chuilli from Traction. All right, MC, I'll talk to you when I claim my winnings in about 6 months.
Hey, good luck this season. You're going to need it. Go Cubs.
I got to go. We'll see you. That's Mack. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. During the spring months and then into the summer, it's wet and humid in this part of the country. And that is a perfect breeding ground for mold. If you have mold in your home, in your office, maybe you own some type of commercial building, apartment complexes, whatever it may be, you got options. And it's not, hey, let's cut sheetrock and pull out carpet and do a ton of demo work. No. Call Mold Zero. That needs to be your first call. Patented, non-toxic, dry fog. Depending on the size of the building, usually can be done in a day. I mean, sometimes just in a few hours. They'll come, they'll spray. You don't need to pull furniture or anything out of your home or office. Everything is safe, non-toxic, safe for pets, plants, your family. It's Mold Zero. Learn more online, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink, or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. On the opening day baseball scoreboard, finals in. The Cubs shut out the Brewers 4-0. Marcus Stroman goes 6 scoreless for the win and gets the first pitch clock violation under the new rules. The Braves beat the Nationals 7-2 in Washington. The Yankees shut out the Giants 5-0. New captain Aaron Judge gets the first home run of the new season. He drives in 2. It's the first official day for all these new rules, including the clock for pitchers and hitters. ESPN's Doug Glanville.
I'm sold. I mean, I think just like any old head, initially it was like, well, I don't know. This is, antithetical, right, to the sense of the game. You're putting a clock on something that's never had a timer on it. But it just got to the point where there's so much dead time.
Doug Glanville on KJ and Max. The Phillies put Bryce Harper on the 10-day injured list instead of the 60-day list, leaving some hope that he could be back sooner than expected after having right elbow surgery.
If you're experiencing a spring hiring rush, then you need Indeed. Their powerful all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Talk to Scott Kushner in about 15 minutes. LSU against Tennessee. You better believe we're going to talk to our buddy Scott Kushner and laugh at him about that. Also, Pels tonight on the floor in Denver against a team with the best record in the West, the Nuggets. So can the Pels get back on track after blowing a 17-point halftime lead against Golden State the other night? So we'll talk to Scott Kushner here shortly. As we inch closer to the NFL draft, and with this first and second wave of free agency now come and gone, a lot of things have settled a bit. Our friends over at DraftKings have updated their projected win totals for the 2023 NFL season, and I'm not going to bury the lead. I'll just dive right into it with Saints. They have the Saints projected to win 9.5 games, which is the best in the NFC South. That probably isn't a great surprise. We have talked about this ever since the Saints made the deal for Derek Carr earlier this month, where we knew that in bringing in Derek Carr, the Saints immediately had the best quarterback situation in the NFC South for 2023. And again, I'm going to say this again because there's way too much confusion over my take on this whole thing. Derek Carr, the player on the field in 2023, makes the Saints better than they were in 2022. And without even any room for debate, Derek Carr is the best quarterback, best starting quarterback in the NFC South for 2023. Period. Not debatable. We talked about that. The problem I've had is in committing to Derek Carr, you have imposed a lower ceiling. Higher floor, lower ceiling on your franchise. That's been my point. But in 2023, Carr gives you the best option to win a bad division, make it to the playoffs, and probably lose in the wild card round. Anyway, Saints at 9.5 wins. Panthers and Falcons at 7.5. And the Tampa Bay Bucks bringing up the rear at 6.5. Couple things. As we mentioned, New Orleans obviously going to be favored to win the division. And considering you're playing a last place schedule, you would anticipate that being the case, that you're going to get a favorable schedule, more favorable schedule. You're in a bad division, and you have the best quarterback situation by far. If anything, it's maybe slightly concerning that you're not projected to be even better against the division that has Desmond Ridder as the starter in Atlanta, very likely a rookie starting quarterback in Carolina, or Andy Dalton. And then when you look at Tampa, Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, or fill in the blank. The fact that you're not a bigger favorite speaks to, I think, some of the deficiencies this Saints team has. And maybe the way that they could get themselves above 500 on this NFL season is because you're going to play 6 games against a division, which is going to be very bad. And that might be an opportunity to elevate yourself against a weak division. But the last 2 years, the Saints won 9 games 2 years ago, 7 games last year. And presumably you're going to be better at quarterback than you were either of those 2 seasons. So here's an opportunity to move forward. Earlier this week, we saw Atlanta announce that Desmond Ridder is going to be their starter. And in so doing, they essentially took themselves out of contention for drafting a quarterback and also took themselves out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. I'll still be a bit skeptical on the draft part. I mean, you should wait and see how the draft plays out. And if there's an opportunity for them to take a player at that position, I'm not saying that they won't. So I'll put an asterisk next to Desmond Ridder starting in Atlanta for now. As far as Carolina, I think we all assume that whoever they take number 1 overall is going to be their day 1 starter. And Tampa, of course, becomes somewhat interesting. Tampa has Baker. We know they signed, and they drafted Kyle Trask a few years ago, and those 2 guys presumably will go battle it out. But Todd Bowles at the NFL owners meetings earlier this week, while he talked about those 2 guys, he also talked about just the quarterback position in general in Tampa and replacing Tom Brady and what that's going to look like this year.
I think when you lose the greatest quarterback of all time, everybody just assumes you're going to be bad. At least that's the narrative. But it takes a team to win a Super Bowl, and it also takes a team to play ball games. And Tom is great by all accolades. He gets everything he deserves, and he should. But to bring in guys that can still challenge and win, you just have to kind of prepare differently as far as what you're trying to do, as opposed to just say, Tom brought a presence with him that you kind of saw. Everybody else has got to earn their stripes, and we're good with that.
He also mentioned that, talking about Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, and anyone else they might bring in. So Todd Bowles didn't close the door on the possibility of bringing in another quarterback somewhere along the way. The problem that I have with what Todd Bowles said there is when he essentially said, you lose Tom Brady, who's the greatest ever, people automatically assume you're going to be bad. Todd, you were bad last year. You were 8-9. You were sub 500. You won a bad division, but you won it with a losing record. You were a bad team a year ago, and now that was with Tom Brady. Now you're going to take out Tom Brady and replace him with Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield or fill in the blank, and you expect to be better than you were a year ago? Yes, you can run through a lot of the players that are there, from Mike Evans or Ryan Jensen or Chris Godwin. And yes, there are some talented players, but every team in the league has talented players on it, but that doesn't mean you have a roster that's able to compete. And I don't see it in Tampa. For whatever it's worth, Bowles gave his opinion on each of the quarterbacks that are there. First, here's what he had to say about Baker.
Everything he stood for as far as leading the team on offense, he had moxie. He had natural leadership skills. It's not overblown. Guys naturally gravitate towards him. He has an excitement he brings toward the game. And he's hungry. and he's hungry, and I can live with that. I can live with that right there, and that I liked him a couple of years ago, and that we got him now with the opportunity to have a chance to start, I think is a good thing for us.
And he's also been discarded by 3 teams in a calendar year. Here was Todd Bowles on Kyle Trash.
Just his knowledge of the game. I think Kyle has a lot of moxie that you don't get to see. Those of us who see him every day, Kyle does more work on the side away from the cameras. Every time I look up and come in the office, he's out there working by himself trying to get better, and I think that's number one for a quarterback to have is inner drive. His inner drive is there. He can read defenses. He can process very quickly, and he can run an offense. It was just when you have a guy like Tom Brady, a guy like that doesn't get many reps, so it's hard to do. So I look forward to him to come out this year and really shows what he can do.
He's Brock Osweiler, sitting behind Peyton Manning in Denver. He's a bad quarterback, sitting behind a great quarterback who didn't get any better because he never got opportunities to play and won't ever be a great quarterback in the NFL. Tampa's going to be very bad this year. Very, very bad. Their projected win total 6.5. I would actually take the under on Tampa. If they do go into the season with Baker and Kyle Trash as their 2 quarterbacks, I do expect they'll be worse than that 6 win total, and we'll be vying for the first overall pick in the draft next year at this time. Saints win total projected 9.5. Got some work to do still. You got to go shore up your defensive line. Lost Kentavia Street today as well. If you missed that news, Adam Schefter reported it. So it's a 3rd interior defensive lineman, 4th defensive lineman in total that they've lost here in this free agent cycle. So Saints still got to rebuild that defensive line. Got to stay healthy. You still need to add another player at receiver. Would help to add a tight end. You're going to have to get younger at running back. They have work to do on this roster still. But I don't think there's anything you've seen that would lead you to believe that Saints wouldn't be the prohibitive favorite to win the division in 2023. That is, unless Carolina just hits a home run with presumably either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little LSU Tennessee baseball. Scott Kushner, our native Vol friend here, will be with us. I'll make fun of him for being a Tennessee Vol, as is customary. And we'll also talk a little Pels. They're back on the floor tonight in Denver against the Nuggets. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. I want to remind you that so many people have lost their insurance as a result of Ida a couple of years ago. So many insurance companies have left the state. If that's you and you need a roof, Hudco can help. We are a local company. I tell you all the time. We're here before the storm. We'll be here after the storm. That's any storm. Hudco now offers financing. So if you need to get your roof replaced and you don't have 30, 50 grand, whatever may be in your pocket to replace your roof, we offer financing. And if you have gotten that letter from your insurance company saying they have left the state, we'll knock $1,000 off the price of the roof. And, wait, there's more. If you sign up for a fortified roof, which can save you as much as 55% on your insurance premiums, we'll knock another $500 off the price as well. We got options for you. It's Hudco Roofing. Anywhere in the state of Louisiana, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HudcoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, Hudco can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call Hudco Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are less than 3 hours away from first pitch, which means we are less than 3 hours away from Scott Kushner jinxing his beloved Vols by being at Alex Box Stadium tonight. How are you, dude?
I'm doing great, Matt. I'm on the road. Why are there so many cars? What is going on?
Why are there so many cars on the road? Well, it depends where on the road you are.
Oh, my God. Near Baton Rouge. I don't know what happened. There's a million cars on.
Oh, no, that's just Baton Rouge. You see, our infrastructure mirrors that of a Baton Rouge circa 1990. Yet it's 2023, and so we're screwed. And even if we try to improve our infrastructure and say, hey, let's get up to where it would be now, it'll take, 20 years to get all that stuff approved, paid for, built, and then by the time that happens, we're another 30 years behind. So we are perpetually screwed unless if there's this massive population exodus from our fair city. We just understand if you're going to live in Baton Rouge, you're going to deal with atrocious traffic situations because for generations our leadership has mismanaged it.
Good for ratings.
Yes, I have a captive audience. I mean, of course. Are you kidding me? Look, Scott, the days when I'm not on air and I drive around Baton Rouge, I go, oh, this is why our ratings are awesome. Because nobody's going. Everybody's just sitting in their cars. God bless you all. God bless you all. Except you today, Kushner.
Yeah.
Except you. Driving up from New Orleans, probably wearing that Rocky Top orange pullover with a khaki hat or something like that. Maybe a little checkerboard underwear or socks. What do you got on right now? What are you wearing?
I'm just I just got a Vols hat on. That's it. I'm very normal dress. Wear my white Vols hat. Okay. This is exactly what I wore to Tiger Stadium to not get my ass kicked. And it turned out it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah. You know what, man? Now that I think about it, and T-Bob was talking about this last night in Scone and Tea. So Tennessee, he used some more colorful language in the way that he described it.
Has he done?
Yes. But Tennessee, of course, beat LSU in football. Even the women's basketball team beat LSU in the SEC tournament. The baseball team beat LSU in the SEC tournament last year. I mentioned the football game. That really kind of sucks.
Yeah, and the Super Regional the year prior.
Yeah, shut up. It's not been great. So, I mean, are you feeling good coming up here this weekend?
Well, I feel good, except for I'm going to be watching in person, which almost certainly means they're going to lose.
Yes.
And LSU is really good. Despite the fact Tennessee is the standard bearer of SEC baseball, as we all know, owning the record and everything for wins in a regular season, I still think LSU is probably, at the moment, in a better position than the Volunteers replacing 7 players. But as a standard bearer, it is our job to come in, up the gate, make sure people show up to the ballpark, keep people interested around the league. So, we do what we do. We're like the Ric Flair when he traveled around in the 80s selling out arenas. That's what the Vols are for baseball now.
Did you ever see Did you ever see the movie Titanic?
It's been a minute, but yes.
You know Kathy Bates' character in that movie?
Yeah.
That's you. You're the new money, is what you are. And as soon as the boat goes down, you're going to be sitting on that boat, and some guy's going to tell you to shut up, lady. We're trying to get to shore.
Yeah, that's us. We're definitely new money.
You're new money. You're no standard bearer.
Sure.
You
standard bearer.
You've never won anything of significance, Kushner.
Yeah, the SEC championship, both of them last year. I think I'll count it.
Yeah.
Most wins in SEC history.
I'd love to tell you. I actually do like telling this story. So this year, for the football Monday press conferences, they're in the Lawton Room. So the Lawton Room is attached to Tiger Stadium. It's like a big stadium seating type room, and that's where the Brian Kelly pressers are. If you go up the top of the steps, there's like a room up there, which looks like a room where it's like a glass window, almost like a production booth. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I probably shouldn't say this on the air. There are SEC baseball championship trophies just sitting in that room that are like, I'm dead serious, that are broken. Like the little baseball guy on it's leaning over, the plate on it with the championship year, and it's like, there's a screw missing, it's dented. I mean, like, that's you're loving SEC baseball regular season championships, which they're great and all that stuff. I'm telling you, those things are like they're literal doorstops in the football stadium team room.
So you're saying I should stop bragging about winning the SEC regular season and tournament championship last year?
I'm saying. What I'm saying is that puts perspective on what the Vols are. But anyway, yes, the standard bear, for sure. Okay, so give me a prediction for this weekend. 3 games. How does it go?
I think based on what I've seen from both teams, it'd be crazy to think that LSU doesn't take 2 out of 3.
Okay.
LSU is really, really good, and Tennessee's replacing like 7 guys in the field, and they've got very talented starters, but they haven't been going really deep into games, and bullpen shaky, and just like at Alex Box, which I hope will be rocking, I think will be rocking. So it should be, I would say LSU's a favorite, but certainly I think it's 2 good baseball teams, so that'll be fun.
I'm surprised you're hoping.
Level-headed.
Yes. You finally ditched that standard bearer crap. I'm actually surprised. The starting pitching is always the great equalizer in baseball, and Tennessee's got 3 great ones. And I think after game 1, the advantage in games 2 and 3 as far as starting pitching does shift to Tennessee. So Tiger bats are gonna have to show up.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and they're very talented, Burns and Beam, but they don't go very deep into games, and they're not like week to week consistent. I think they're like great prospects more so than they are great college pitchers at this point. So there's a difference there. But yeah, I mean, if the series was in late May in Knoxville, maybe I think different. But I don't see it right now. But it should be very, telling for both teams.
The great thing, though, is that tonight's game, 7 o'clock, 2 great pitchers. It'll probably be done in 2 hours and 35 minutes, which means by around 9:30, I'll be celebrating an LSU win and flipping over to TNT to watch the Pelicans and the Nuggets tonight. By the way, I actually don't know this. Do we know if the game's on Bally as well tonight?
I don't believe so.
Okay, when it goes national, so it's just a TNT game.
It depends on
I was watching the game the other night on TNT in Spanish. I thought it was I'm honest to goodness, I thought it was just like, a one-off broadcast, like, maybe like Hispanic history, whatever. I think my son, who recently, like literally in the last week, discovered the remote control, I think he must have found like the SAP button or something like that. And I was literally watching the game in Spanish. And I didn't find out. I didn't find out until I was live on air the next day talking to Muse, and he's like, "I watched the game and I did not watch it in Spanish." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, now I've uncovered a problem at the Moscona household." Okay, so Pels.
You didn't miss much.
No, well. When I flipped it on, they were up. It was halftime. They were up 17. So So that's what I got to say. I missed plenty. I missed them build a nice lead, and then I watched them blow the very nice lead. So tonight, is Denver really playing for anything still?
I mean, they still haven't clinched the 1 seed theoretically. I think mathematical, whatever. There's still 5-6 games left, and Jokic, I think, is pushing to play. He's questionable at the moment. Everybody seems to think that he's going to play, though, and so that obviously means that Denver's really good. Like, if he decides to play, they're really, really good. And if he doesn't play, they're a lot worse, but they're still a good team, and especially going there. They don't lose in that building very often. So it's a big challenge regardless.
He's officially right now listed as doubtful, Jokic is, for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't know. You're probably right. I would trust you far more on that. Denver is a 5.5 point favorite in the game for whatever that's worth. Give me a thought on New Orleans here in their final 6. How this looks.
I mean, they've got some life back, and so even blowing that lead in the second half, you saw some old problems pop up. But they do have some life as compared to the last 6 weeks before it, where it almost felt like they hated playing basketball. Yeah. I'm not seeing that right now. So that was a big improvement. I think Brandon Ingram's got his confidence back. I think CJ McCollum is playing a little more free with that hand. Looked like he was injured for a long time with that thing, just playing through it. So I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're in really bad shape. I think they're just as good as any other teams that play in. But they got to go 4-2 really over the last 6 to control their own destiny. Otherwise, you're sort of relying on other teams, and that is a challenge.
Well, talk me through this here. We got Scott Kushner with us. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner, of course, Pelicans columnist over at NOLA.com. They're in the 9 seed right now. They're a game and a half out of the 6. But similarly, they're a game and a half out of the 11 and being completely out of the playoffs right now. So yeah. 4-2, you say is what they need to be to control their own destiny, or they need help. Walk me through that, because I'm looking at games against Denver and Memphis and Sacramento, and teams that might not, the Knicks might not actually be playing for anything down the stretch, who might be resting players. It might be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big X factor in this whole thing is, like, are the Knicks going to want to play every single game going forward? Do the Grizzlies feel like they're going to need to play for everything with the last game on the line? And even Minnesota, which I think is the very last game,
yes,
there's a chance they are locked into their position by that point. So as with anything in the NBA, what the schedule tells you and what actually occurs on the floor are two very different things, because it all depends on who's available on that given night. For now, I think the Pelicans, when you look at it and assume they're going to be playing good teams, most of these guys don't start resting until the last 2-3 games. They usually don't do it before then. Okay. But they could catch some breaks going into that, because they are playing a lot of playoff teams who might be kind of locked into their position.
Yeah. All right. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Where are you sitting tonight?
Down at third baseline, apparently. Got a friend, Mr. Robbie Piper, helping me out with the tickets. So it should be a good time if I can ever get through this traffic.
I'm sorry, did you say Roddy Piper?
Wouldn't that be awesome? That was Robbie. Close.
Robbie. I was like, and I'm pretty sure Roddy Piper is dead also. Isn't he? Yes.
He left these tickets in his day, like Elvis,
The Hot Rowdy Roddy Piper certainly did, in fact. Muse confirmed it. And he's our resident wrestling expert. So the Hot Rod is dead. Roddy Piper. Scott Kushner, however, is a what color is your hat, by the way?
White. You can find it. You
Good.
can find a small Jewish man drinking light beers and cheering for the Vols.
Be sure, I was just about to say, if you see a small Jewish man, glasses affixed atop his nose, a white Vols hat on his head, that is very likely our friend, Mr. Kushner. Please heckle him mercilessly. and boo him mercilessly. And I would have said take it easy until you went with that standard bear crap, and now I'm just like, just crush him. If you're down the third base, Muse, you're down the third baseline. Muse, y'all got to connect tonight. You got to connect with Muse. What section are you in?
I have no idea. I'll text you, though, where I'm at, for sure.
I don't believe you.
I'll text you. I don't have Muse's number. I'll text you. And you get me connected so I can get heckled to death.
I think what's happening here is you are just now realizing the error in your ways. There's this folly that awaits you. And now you go, oh, wait, I don't actually remember where I'm sitting, actually. I don't know. It might actually be in left field. I don't know. It might be something like the Champions Club or something really cool. I don't know. Well, we're not sure. All right, well, if you
I sat in that West Club at the football game. That was great. I had a lot of room to spread out in the fourth quarter.
You jerk. All right. And by the way, congrats on your quarterback for tearing his ACL and you not winning a damn thing. That's Scott Kushner and I love hitting Hooker too, so I hate to say that, of NOLA.com. Go read his stuff. Thank you for the time. No luck at all to you and the Vols over the next 3 days.
See you, Matt. Go Big Orange.
All right, we'll see you later. Go Big Orange. Oh my God. I was trying to be friendly a couple of times there, and then he kicked sand in my face. He went with the standard bear thing for baseball, and then he went, yeah, plenty of room to spread out in the fourth quarter.
That was good.
It was good.
That was good.
But at the same time, you don't earn the right to do that. Nope. I mean, I guess you got to take them when you can get them.
Yeah.
I do have to show you. I took a picture.
Especially if you're Tennessee.
I took a picture of the trophies in the Lawton room. I probably shouldn't have said that live on air because someone at LSU, like some lackey, is going to be scrambling up there now to like go get the trophies and have them restored and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, that was a thing. That was a thing that happened IRL.
I mean, LSU's got 17 of those things. They don't really need to restore those. I mean, it's fine. You might be getting 18 this year anyway.
I wonder, it might have even been like a tournament trophy. Now I'm scrolling through my phone to find it because I was a little taken aback when I saw it, so I went and looked. All right, I'm gonna scroll through the phone. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Muse, I'll show you. I didn't show you this during the season.
No, you didn't show me that during the season.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, I'm not just considering scroll through my phone live on the air. So all my photos and the albums, but I'll find it. If I can find it, I'll show Muse. He can confirm it. We'll see if Kushner is a total coward or if he actually does send us his seat where he is in the box. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Opening day of Major League Baseball. When we come back, Muse, Paulie, and I make our season predictions. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. Love telling you about Gordon for so many reasons. Of course, the Gord father has become sort of like LSU's knight in shining armor. He's done so many incredible NIL deals and helped so many student athletes across many different sports and multiple institutions around the state of Louisiana as well through NIL opportunities. Great exposure for all those student athletes as well. We talk about Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, and how they help so many great charities. I shared with you that this past Saturday, I was emceeing the Down Syndrome Awareness Group Buddy Walk, and there was a Gordon tent there. They were giving out Gordon T-shirts, and they were a great sponsor and supporter of that awesome organization. But look, if you've been injured and it's not your fault and you need representation, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Chuilli have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're going to get to our MLB season predictions coming up here in mere moments. The LSU women's basketball team, they will play in the women's Final Four mañana. Kim Mulkey and Angel Reese, Alexis Morris all met with the media today in Dallas. Tip-off tomorrow. It's going to be a conflict tomorrow with LSU baseball and with the women's basketball team playing in the Final Four. But if the ladies can get past Virginia Tech, they would set up a very likely rematch with South Carolina in the national championship game. But first, it's a matter of getting past Virginia Tech. Kim Mulkey was asked, look, I mean, she's won 3 of these things during her time at Baylor. She was asked if that experience matters a lick for this LSU team.
I'm the only one in our locker room that has done this, but I'm not going to shoot, dribble, pass, guard any of them. So it's not a matter of what I have done. I look at it this way. It may be their first time to be in this situation, but they're all seniors. They're all seniors. It's the first time for my group to be in this situation as well, and we're not all seniors, so I think they have the edge on experience. All I'm going to do is tweak a thing here or there throughout the course of the game, but it has nothing at all to do with coaching and how long a coach has been somewhere or how many times a coach has been somewhere.
It's Kim's 5th Final Four. Again, she's won it 3 of the 4 times she's been there, and so this is number 5. We'll see if they're able to get it done, take that step tomorrow. Tigers are a 2-point favorite over Virginia Tech. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com, 29 offices across 11 different states. If you need precision measurement devices calibrated, nobody's better than Michelli. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You can check them out online. If you're looking for a career instead of a job, Michelli can help you there as well. Go to Michelli.com. And we're talking about at all of their 29 offices. One of the major objectives they had in 2022, which was their 75th anniversary, was expanding a lot of their calibration labs in many of their cities and locations like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Houston, Mobile, many parts along the coast. But from sea to shining sea, they've got offices, and you can find one near you at Michelli.com. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Their track system allows you 24/7, 365 access to those calibration certificates. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. All right. My apologies. Let's see. Today, opening day of Major League Baseball. And because now we seem to have fixed what ailed our computer earlier, I guess I can play this, much to Muse's chagrin. First home run of the 2023 Major League season belongs to the Yankee captain.
That one's driven to center field and deep. Yastrzemski back, still back, on the track, at the wall. See ya! He picks up where he left off. A home run for Judge. 1-0 Yanks.
422-foot bomb into Monument Park. That put the Yanks up 1-0 in the first. They'd shut out the Giants 5-0, well on their way to their 28th World Championship. Your New York Yankees. All right, we got some baseball music, Muse. Hit me with a little baseball music. Okay. Be hearing that in October.
Did you get eliminated again?
Looking live at Yankee Stadium.
Game 7 and out to lose? Or just trailing like 3-1?
Yankees-Padres World Series is happening.
You just ruined the segment.
No, I didn't.
You just gave your pick.
Got a lot that I have to get to before I get to that. Too many teases in radio sometimes as well. You know what I mean? Like, don't belabor the point. Spit it out! Today, Junior! All right, let's go. Me, Paulie, Muse. Let's go. We'll do our division winners, AL, NL. Then we'll pick the AL and NL champion and then the World Series champion. Paulie, do you have last year's graphic, by the way? Do you remember how we all turned out? It was bad, wasn't it?
It wasn't terrible.
No, that's right. We did okay. That's right. We did okay in Major League Baseball. We did horribly.
Yeah, NFL was bad.
With our NFL picks.
Here you go.
I think the only thing that was remotely close in the NFL, like, didn't you and I have Kansas City? Or you had Buffalo?
I had Buffalo.
I had Green Bay winning it, but I think I had Green Bay beating Kansas City. So at least I had Kansas City in it.
Yeah.
But everything else was a total disaster. Okay, here we go. What did we hit? I had a Braves-Yankees World Series. Terrio had Braves-Yankees. Paulie had Braves-White Sox. Homer. Muse had Blue Jays Doyers, and it ended up Astros Phillies. So none of us got those. Did anybody get anything right?
I got the Astros winning their division, right? So did you.
Terrio had the Yankees winning the East. I had the Sox. Astros. None of us got the Central.
Terrio had the.
We all had the NL East with the Braves.
Terrio had the Central NL as well with the Cardinals.
And then the NL West with the Dodgers. Muse was the lone wolf there with the Giants. Yep. You were wrong again, Muse. Okay, let's get to our picks for this year. All right, let's start the AL. AL East, I'll go first. Of course, give me the Yankees. I'm not making that mistake twice. Last year I picked the Yankees to win the World Series, but I picked the Blue Jays to win the division. The Orioles made quite a nice run last year, and the Rays generally surprised you. But anyway, I'm going Yankees. Muse.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Evil Empire as well this year. Although you brought them up, man, the Orioles. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I'm very Adley Rutschman went 5 for 5 today.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah,
Orioles
no, I'm not saying they're
going
to win, but I think the Orioles are going to be very, very good.
Paulie.
Let's make it a clean sweep. I'm going with the Yankees.
All righty. Are you jotting all these down?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. All right, Central. Muse, you want to go first? AL Central.
I don't think it's going to be a very good division, actually, this year at all. I'll go with the Indians to repeat. But
I'm sorry?
Oh, the Guardians. I'm sorry. Yes, the Guardians to repeat just because, I think the rest of the teams are bad.
Yes. Paulie, Central.
I hate to agree with Musso, but I agree. I think the Guardians are the best team in a horrible division, so I think I go with the Guardians.
We are lame and boring. Guardians, clean sweep. All right, let's go to the AL West. I fear this might actually be the same. Astros. Paulie.
Astros.
Yeah, okay, so we all are very boring in this respect. Yankees, Guardians, Astros. All right, let's move on to the NL. We'll start in the East. We know Paulie's picking the Braves because he's a gigantic homer, right?
Braves.
Oh, Paulie. Need some water?
Yep.
Yes.
Go Braves.
Chop on, says Paul.
Muse.
Yeah, Braves. I mean, it's their division. Sorry. I mean, look, the Mets had it, a stranglehold, and then they met it everywhere and choked.
I know. And Verlander's hurt. Diaz is out half the season.
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies, you don't have Bryce Harper right now or Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah.
Give me the Braves.
Although, wasn't the news on Harper today that he's on the 10-day injured list?
Something. He had the surgery a while ago.
I think he might be back sooner than they thought. I think I heard that in Sportsnet at the top of the hour. Forgive me, I don't know that off the top.
Great
yes,
for them.
I had Braves as well. I had the Braves winning the division. I would love to pick somebody else. And the freaking Phillies win the World Series a year.
You still got Nola, you still got Wheeler. They're good. It's just, we'll see.
I have half of mine just to blur it out, Phillies, but no, I'm going to stick with the Braves. All right, NL Central, Muse?
Again, I think it's kind of similar to the AL Central. I don't think it's a very good division. I don't believe in the Cubs as much as Mack Chuilli does. I'm going to take the Cardinals, too. I repeat there.
Okay. Paulie.
This is just carbon copy of everything. I'm also going to go with the Cardinals. I think the Brewers have a good chance at it, but I just think the Cardinals are too strong.
I picked the Brewers last year. I am going with St. Louis this year. And by the way, I have it all written down.
Yeah.
It's written in ink. I have this isn't just a copycat. I already told you NL West. I'm going with San Diego.
I'm going to go with the Dodgers.
Okay.
I think the Dodgers are a great regular season team. They're not the best postseason team out there, but I think they win the division again.
Paulie?
I'm going to go with you. I think the Padres are going to take it this year. I think the Dodgers are taking a step back.
I think for the first time, the Padres are actually the more talented team than the Dodgers. And I yesterday also to take the under with the Dodgers on their season win total. I tend to agree. I think the Padres are a better team. I think they're going to win the division this year. All right, World Series. Let's go AL champion. Muse, AL champion.
Out of the American League, I will take the New York Yankees.
How did that feel, Muse?
Not
How
great.
did it feel to
Not
say
great,
it
man.
out loud?
It seems like they have fixed the starting rotation, which
Did you see Garrett Cole
really
today?
ailed them.
Oh my God.
But
they're not even healthy.
They
got 60% of their rotation out right now.
Well, look, they're not going to ever be healthy because the Yankees aren't healthy anymore. That's just how it goes. Somebody's going to get hurt. But
baseball.
I do think they have fixed the starting pitching problem.
Paulie, AL.
I do like the Yankees.
Don't you do it, Paul.
To get to the championship game.
Do it, Paul.
But I like the Astros.
Yeah.
To win.
Again, huh?
Yeah, that'll be 3 in a row for the Astros.
Their 7th straight trip to the league championship series, too.
Oh, man.
Which is absurd.
No, Verlander's going to be interesting.
It will be. Love Christian Javier, though.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo Houston. They're a great baseball team. They're supremely talented. It's time. If you're the Yankees, it's time. It's time to... I was on a Craning Company this morning with the fellas, and I was like, eventually, Jordan had to be able to beat Isaiah and the Pistons. If you're going to be a dynasty, you're going to get to the title, you're going to have to eventually slay the dragon that is just continuously defeating you. Georgia had to beat Alabama. It's time. If you're the Yankees, you got to do it. You're going to have to beat Houston to get there. Let's see if this is the year they do it. All right, so Muse and I like the Yankees. Muse loves the Yankees, by the way. Paulie has the Astros. What about I told you I'm taking the Padres. I think we're getting the Yankees-Padres World Series.
This was tough. I think the NL is a lot more competitive, actually, than the AL. I think it's obviously Yankees, Astros, and theirs to lose. I think you have a few teams in the NL. But I want badly to go with the Padres, but I also really like the Braves this year, and I think the Braves make it out of the NL.
Okay, Paulie. Hurry up. It's 4:50. It's 4:49. I didn't realize.
Y'all. I do think it's the Padres, Braves. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the Padres.
All right. Who wins the World Series? I got Yankees beating the Padres.
I'll take the Braves because I'm not picking the Yankees.
Okay, Paulie.
I got Padres over Astros.
Okay. All right, there's our picks. We are on record. Major League Baseball season underway. It's after further review. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. I was talking to my guy, CV, Cade Voisin, the original, the OG AFR producer, Cade Voisin, called me today. We were talking. He's like, hey, I want to let you know also, when saw your peeps over at Clegg's. Cade's a regular green thumb. He's a do-it-yourselfer around the home. Had some weeds coming up through some gravel rocks around this home. You know, you could go get the standard thing that you get at all the big box stores, the weed killer. Or you go to Clegg's and they have another product, which is actually a superior product that's cheaper than the one that everybody uses that you get at the big box stores. Said within a couple days, knocked it out. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. It's Clegg's. Of course, they've got shipments of flowers arriving daily. Flowers, plants, trees, shrubs, all locally grown, so they're acclimated to South Louisiana, so they're going to live longer through our spring and summer months. And they're partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So whatever you would find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we got 2 minutes. Muse, hit it. Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Some news out of the NBA. Skylar Mays signed a 10-day deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. So remember, Skylar was on that odd, weird team in the G League that didn't have an affiliate and he could just sign with anybody. So he signed with the Trail Blazers. Best of luck to Skylar Mays. Naz Reid continues the tear that he's on last night. 15.6 rebounds, and the T-Wolves lost to the Suns. That is now 8 straight games scoring double figures for Naz. 11 games out of 12 in March in double figures for Naz Reid. Major League Baseball opening day. The Yankees, they were victorious over those San Francisco Giants, and DJ LeMahieu got it started at the top of the order for New York today. 1 for 4, also drove in a run, his first RBI of the season.
It was a 2 RBI single.
They must have it wrong in the box score then. Were you watching the game?
I was watching the game.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It was in the bottom of the 7th inning. It was a 2 RBI single.
I will take your word for it. Jake Fraley currently 1 for 1 in the 3-hole, mind you, for the Cincinnati Reds. It's a single, also drew a walk, so he's been on base twice. And a game with a lot of local flavor. Phillies and Rangers. Aaron Nola got the opening day start. 3 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned. Struck out 4. Josh Smith in the lineup, 0 for 1 with a run scored and a walk for the Texas Rangers. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Represented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Here's the hit right here. So that was running on 3rd. Oh, we're out of time. Okay.
AFR.
He got 1 RBI on it. It was running on 3rd. Thought it was a 2 RBI single. I was watching it, but I was also trying to prep for the show. South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned. Told you it was in the bottom of the 7th. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Hey, listen, I tell you all the time about the brand new Volkswagens. They're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They move more inventory than any other VW dealer. So in many instances, even if you don't live in Baton Rouge, it might be worth the drive if they can give you a better deal and save you money on that vehicle that you want, and they have a better selection. But remember, certified pre-owned as well. They've got so many certified pre-owned cars. So if you're in the market for a used vehicle, go to South Point Volkswagen as well. Shop all your used car lots, but make sure you shop the inventory at South Point Volkswagen, all different makes and models. Airline just north of Highland and online at southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A follow-up now to a questionable grass-cutting contract first exposed by the WBRZ investigative unit last month. The State Office of Juvenile Justice severed that contract following our reports. State ethics laws are in place from employees getting state contracts at their workplace, but the investigative unit showed you the Good Old Boy Network was alive and well. Hear why the contract was canceled and what happens now. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Chuilli have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Baseball's opening day. All 30 teams scheduled today. Right now in the fourth inning, the Cardinals and Blue Jays are tied at 5. Seventh inning, the Mets and Marlins are tied at 3. Pirates lead the Reds 4-2 in the fifth. Twins lead the Royals 2-0 in the seventh in Kansas City. Opening day on ESPN TV and radio, 7 Eastern for the White Sox and Astros in Houston. ESPN's Jessica Mendoza believes the bigger bases and lack of shifts will help teams like the Phillies and Rangers score more runs.
Both of those teams, because of their left-handed hitters that are going to hit more ground balls to that side, more runs are going to get through. They're going to go through. I don't think the pitch clock is going to impact maybe the amount plus or minus. I do think we're just going to see more action, period.
Jessica Mendoza on Fitz and Harry. Right now in the fifth inning, the Rangers lead the Phillies 9-5 thanks to a 9-run fourth inning. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Alabama freshman Brandon Miller will enter the NBA draft.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier to help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Clay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. 2 hours from first pitch. LSU, Tennessee. The weekend matchup we have all been long anticipating. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball here in less than 15 minutes from right now. LSU football was back on the practice field on Thursday. There was media availability, after which Brian Kelly spoke. And this was the first time that the media had practice access since Jamar Cain was announced as the new defensive line coach of the Denver Broncos. Former Saints coach Sean Payton hiring away the LSU defensive line coach after just one season. And as I was told over the weekend, that happened very quickly. It was not something that had been percolating for a long time. Sean Payton targeted Jamar Cain. They made him a great offer. He had to move very quickly and did. So now Brian Kelly has to kind of fill the gaps here in spring and then start looking for a permanent replacement after spring football, which is kind of how we described what's taking place right now and who is taking over running the defensive line for spring.
Coach Chapman, as you know, is a well-credentialed, experienced defensive line coach. So, obviously he's coaching, the interior defensive linemen during the spring. We feel great about that. And then Coach Jancic is coaching the Jack. So from that perspective, we'll go through the spring.
So they'll go through the spring with Gerald Chapman coaching the interior defensive line. Chapman was hired as a senior defensive analyst for LSU. His history, his resume includes a previous stop at LSU as a defensive analyst under Ed Ogeron, and was not retained by Brian Kelly when Kelly was hired. He spent a season at Tulane as well, at the University of Colorado. He's been a GA at Texas A&M, where he was in 2015. Then he went to Tennessee State in 2017. It's interesting that you have a guy. It was also in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals in 2019 and 2020. So, and then, as we mentioned, from Tulane to Colorado and now back to LSU. So it's interesting in that you've got a guy who has NFL experience, a young guy, he's 35 years old. Young guy, NFL experience, has coached at Texas A&M, has coached at, Ball State and Butler as well, so smaller schools. He's been at LSU before. He's been at Tulane, so he's got experience in Louisiana and has experience as a defensive line coach at the major college level with Colorado. So you've got a guy with experience and ties to the state, which matter, especially when you're talking about recruiting. Brian Kelly was asked on Thursday about sort of the process of looking for the full-time replacement for Jamar Cain. Here's what he said.
We're, putting together our thoughts relative to, do we hire within? Do we go outside? And I think all of our options are on the table. We think it's important that, this is a position that we examine all options. But again, we have, outstanding coaches here, and we want to be able to get through the spring and then go from there.
When Brian Kelly elevated John Jancic from a defensive analyst to the special teams coordinator and Jack linebackers coach, one of the things we talked about at the time was that when John Jancic came, remember, John Jancic and Brian Kelly have a great personal and working relationship. They have known each other for all the way back to the Grand Valley State days. And Jancic was on Kirby Smart's staff at Georgia. This is a guy who's been the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. Like, great major college experience as a defensive coordinator. Was at Georgia, won a national championship, and Brian Kelly lured him away to be on his staff a year ago in Baton Rouge, and John Jancic came as an analyst. And a lot of times those things are done with the understanding like, hey, just join my staff and in an all-field role this year, and in a year we're gonna when things settle, we're gonna find an on-field role for you. And I believe that's what happened with Jancic. I believe John Jancic was going to be an on-field coach in 2023 either way. However it had to happen, it was going to happen. And it just so happened that LSU was really bad at special teams. They moved Brian Polian into an off-field role, and were able to move John Jancic back into an on-field role. Now, he's coached defense, he's coached linebackers, he's coached outside linebackers, so that was very natural. He's never coached special teams. So they had to sort of move a lot of the chess pieces around to figure out how they were going to make it work with special teams. My point being, if they knew Jamar Cain was leaving, it would have been so easy to make John Jancic your defensive line coach. Boom, done. And then you could go hire a true special teams coordinator. I don't know if they're going to do that now because they've already announced Jancic coaching special teams, and the Jack linebackers. Cain's out now. Do you go hire a defensive line coach? It's not to say they couldn't. I guess in theory you could, but how this all shuffles remains to be seen. But there's no reason to be too antsy or anxious with this move, however they're going to do it. Now, the other thing Kelly was asked is, what is he going to consider? What factors is he going to consider in hiring a new coach on the defensive line?
I think if you would just look at assembling a staff in the SEC, look at the position groups that make, such an important impact on your team. And I mean, you'd hard pressed to say that the defensive line is not as important as any position. So, recruiter and talent developing is got to be at the top of the list. So the ability to recruit in the SEC and develop talent is got to be 1A, 1B. So, what does that mean? I mean, I think it narrows your pool, from that perspective. Experience then comes into being part of that, right? You can't be an inexperienced, never been in the SEC or knows the recruiting of this landscape and be a qualified candidate.
Gerald Chapman checks a lot of those boxes. I'm not saying Brian Kelly is going to make that decision to promote from within, but something we talked about with the Jancic hire, or Jancic promotion, I should say, was how a lot of coaches are in a way following the model Nick Saban has, whereby you load up your support staff, and when you have turnover, inevitably, every place has it. Coaching is a transient business. When you have turnover in your on-field staff, you promote from your analysts, from your support staff, to an on-field job. That is a very natural way that things can happen, and you minimize disruption because you're promoting people from within that you already have on staff that know you, your players, your processes, all of that stuff, which makes for a more natural transition. Now, Gerald Chapman is new to LSU. Again, like he was at LSU in 21. He was not retained by Kelly, so he went to Tulane and then was hired at Colorado, and he was right back at LSU. So you're talking about a guy that is still somewhat new, but knows the area, knows the landscape, knows the state, knows how to recruit, has been a coach at a lot of different places. Again, his resume goes Wisconsin, Oshkosh, Ball State, Butler, Texas A&M, Elon, Tennessee State, Cincinnati with the Bengals for 2 years, LSU, Tulane, Colorado. I mean, that's a lot of moves in 12 years. But he's bounced around and tried to make it, and we'll see if this is something that sticks. I'm not necessarily going to advocate for that, but I also believe there's merit to that process where you hire your support staff. Like, it would not surprise me if LSU follows that same path with Bob Diaco. Bob Diaco was Kelly's a DC at Notre Dame, became the head coach at UConn. He's bounced around a bit. Now he's back with Kelly as an analyst. Analysts can now coach at practice, and it makes a lot of sense that eventually, when a spot opens, Bob Diaco would elevate, right? I mean, we saw Steve Sarkisian and Charlie Strong, guys like do that at Alabama, guys be analysts at Alabama who have, like Doug Marrone was an NFL head coach, was an analyst at Alabama. Like, it just makes sense that that's sort of a way that you can build your depth, your bench depth, and then when you inevitably lose somebody, you can elevate. So Chapman's qualified to coach the defensive line, certainly qualified to do it during spring. We'll see if he's able to make enough of an impression to get that job full-time or if they look outside. But as Brian Kelly said, we won't know that until after spring drills. All right, it's after further review. We are glad to have you aboard with us. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll talk some LSU, Tennessee. Our buddy Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball joins us every Thursday to talk about the baseball weekend ahead. We'll do that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're heading out to the box and you need a bite to eat before you go to the box, you can always get by Pluckers. The Nicholson location is just south of Alec Box Stadium. I mean, if you're going south on Nicholson and you pass the box on your right, I mean, just, I don't know, a few hundred yards on the left, you'll see Pluckers. You can't miss it. It's walking distance to Alec Box Stadium. So before the game, after the game, or if you need a place to watch the game, every LSU baseball game all season long, they'll have it on at Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. Baseball tonight, but not just LSU baseball. You got Major League Baseball opening day. You got the Pelicans tonight against the Nuggets with a 9 o'clock tip. Remember, Pluckers is open till midnight or later every night of the week. So tonight, Thursday, all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. Great opportunity to get there early, watch LSU baseball, stay, watch some opening day, the night games, watch the Pels and the Nuggets tonight as well. Best place to do it is at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, every Thursday we visit with Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball. This one feels a bit different, though. LSU, Tennessee, maybe the most anticipated series in college baseball this year. How are you, dude?
I am doing well. I mean, the only bad thing is this is opening day of MLB. Like, I wish we would have maybe had this series like another week when they're not opening the Major League Baseball season.
Well,
but at any rate, in terms of college baseball fans, this is pretty awesome.
Am I right in saying the most anticipated college baseball series of this regular season?
It is, but I'll say this: it's kind of funny. I was actually talking to Mikey Montuk about this yesterday in the sense that, like, I feel like LSU might have like 2 or 3 more series this year that you're talking about as potentially like the best series of the year. Like, what if South Carolina goes on some big run and continues this streak? We may be calling that the series of the year later in the season.
That very well could be the case. The anticipation, though, the build-up, obviously the names on the marquee for this one matter a lot. Yeah. I do want to ask a little bit more and dig deeper on Tennessee.
Sure.
Is it fair to say that Tennessee has an edge as far as the starting pitching matchups?
I would say they do. I mean, obviously, Paul Skeens is an advantage over anybody. Although, I mean, the thing about Chase Dollander, and it kind of seems like we're all kind of downplaying Dollander because Paul Skeens has been so good, but it's just because Paul's been that good. I mean, Dollander is still one of those guys that is more than capable of going out there and shutting anybody out for 7 innings. I mean, you look like, last week against A&M, he had the rocky first inning, but other than that, I mean, he was rock solid. So, has he been as dominant as he was last year? No. But does he have the stuff to go out there, especially in a game like this when everybody's talking about Paul Skeens and Chase was kind of like the big pitching prospects coming into the season? It's not out of the realm of possibility that you see a guy like that that's a premier talent go, you know what? Like, I'm amped up for this game, and go out there and all of a sudden throw 7 innings and give up 3 hits. It could happen. Do I predict that? Probably not, but it could happen.
What has been different for Dollander this year? You said it hasn't been as dominant. I mean, the numbers bear that. He's still been great. What has been different when he struggled?
Well, I think the 2 times I've seen him throw this year, off and on, and what I kind of do on Friday nights is like just kind of flip between different games. But what I've seen from him is he's a little bit more hittable. I feel like the slider's still really good, but I still think that he's hittable. So that's just been the biggest thing. Last year I thought it was a little bit more swing and miss stuff. This year it hasn't been that quite yet. But again, he's still a premier talent. And let's not forget, I mean, this is the guy that 2 years ago had an ERA well over 4 at Georgia Southern. He had a great year last year. So maybe it's just a matter of kind of going back to the mean a little bit for him. But at any rate, he's still a premier talent.
Look, all 6 starters that we're going to see this weekend are all going to be highly drafted or highly thought of draft prospects, like when their time comes, obviously. There's been a conversation here about Thatcher Hurd, who, as you know, he's struggled in that Sunday role. When you look at Sunday in particular, Hurd against Beam, a couple of sophomore righties, how do you sort of make sense of that game, which very well, Kendall, could end up being a rubber match?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with Drew Beam is he's Mr. Consistent. He's up to 94, 95. What you see is what you get. Like, he is pretty much the same guy every time out. He's going to pound the strike zone. And so I love him for that. Thatcher Hurd is kind of one of those guys, whereas Drew Beam is a proven commodity. Thatcher Hurd is still kind of coming to his own a little bit. And, what I mean by that is, you look at the spin rates and, the fastball spin rate check mark, the breaking ball spin rate, like above Major League average. So those 2 things are there. What isn't there is just the overall consistency. So, I get like the alarm belled a little bit and people are like, oh, they need to take him out of the rotation and all that. But here's my thing. When you have a premier talent like Thatcher Hurd in terms of his overall stuff and you're still winning series, I think it's actually really smart to just stick with him until you get in a situation to where, you know what, like we've got to start winning some series, and so we can't risk having him out there. So I think as long as LSU is taking care of business on the weekend, I think you see if he can kind of work it out. But if it doesn't work out, then I think you look at a guy like Garrett Edwards, who has honestly been fantastic this year, and he showed against A&M he could throw 50, 60 pitches and look very sharp. I think at that point, if he just continues to struggle week in and week out, I think you got to look at other options. I think Edwards would be one of those guys for me.
Edwards has also been, I think it's safe to say, Kendall, the stopper. He's the guy first out of the pen that this staff trusts. Is he more valuable in that role?
Yeah, I mean, for now, he's more valuable in that role, especially, when you're still trying to fine-tune Christian Little a little bit. Again, we talk about premium stuff. Christian Little has premium stuff, but as we saw against A&M, in a couple other games, there's also been some times where it's kind of in and out with his command. So for now, I like status quo. You're winning weekend series. Has Thatcher Hurd been awesome? No, not yet. But I mean, you can believe in the stuff. And, right now, Garrett Edwards is such a luxury in the middle of that game. He's really kind of your security blanket. If something goes sour, you can throw him in there, and you're kind of like, if you're Jay Johnson, you're kind of on the bench like, oh, okay, we're good now.
It's such a strange thing to say because Edwards really had to win a roster spot this year, but he's certainly justified it. Kendall Rogers is with us here.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you could argue the same thing with Gavin Dugas. I mean, a lot of people thought that he would hit the portal because he was going to have to come back and earn a spot, and look at what he's done. He's been just an absolute vacuum cleaner defensively, and he's been awesome offensively. So really on the mound and in the field, the Tigers have had guys that could have very easily hit the portal, have a lot of success. Says a lot about those 2 kids.
Cade Beloso hitting .538 and really working his way in. Is that? I did want to ask you, with Tennessee throwing a lot of righties, is this a weekend where Jay really considers going very heavy left-handed with Beloso and Joe Bear, like making sure those guys are all in the lineup all 3 days?
It's a great question. I guess we'll find out soon. But I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put those guys in there, because the thing about Joe Bear and Beloso is, like you mentioned, Beloso's average, like and Joe Bear from a power standpoint, like both those guys have proven in the past they can be productive hitters. So if you throw them in there, it's not like you're going, oh well, man, we're taking a huge risk putting those guys in the lineup. Those are guys that have proven in the past they can, produce at a high level. So it is a great problem to have, because if you're LSU, you can put the guys in there that you have now. You'll probably be fine. You could maybe be better if you put kind of mix and match a little bit with those two guys, and you might be even better. So the depth is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you look at a couple of freshmen like Kling and Jones, or those some righties who maybe don't get the ABs this weekend, to go more veteran, more left-handed. That's going to be fascinating to see what direction Jay goes there. LSU, Tennessee, 3-game series. Do you? I know if I go to D1 baseball, you can see the staff picks. We'll spoil it if you don't mind. How do you see it going this weekend?
I like LSU 2-3. I think LSU wins the opener. Like, I just can't. I get, like, Arkansas fans are crowing because they won the game that Skeens pitched, but let's not act like they beat Paul Skeens. But I still like LSU's ability to win the series opener. I think Tennessee wins the middle game. I just think Chase Burns, I saw him pitch a couple weeks ago on TV, and like the stuff is electric. I love his demeanor out there. I think he helps Tennessee bounce back, and I think LSU wins the final game. I think both teams kind of piece things together after about the fourth or fifth inning from a pitching standpoint, and kind of like Arkansas series, I kind of like LSU's offense to kind of be the aggressor that gets it done in the end. But it's going to be a great series.
It might be the one big differentiator. The Tennessee offense I don't know if they'll ever have an offense that looks like the one that they had a year ago, which led the league and everything.
It's way different. Like, Zane Denton, Blake Bird, Jared Dickey are all three guys that can hit for big-time power. But I felt like when you look at Tennessee's lineup last year, Matt, I mean, it was like they had like 7 guys in the lineup with 12 or more home runs. I think they have, 1 or 2 guys right now with double digits, maybe. And so, it's just a different lineup. They're going to have to find different ways to score than they did last year.
Hey, let's look at the rest of the league tonight, or this weekend. Man, South Carolina, Kendall, I didn't see it coming, man. I mean, they're at 6-0 right now, and can they maintain it? Probably so. I don't know, obviously at this pace, but they certainly look legitimate. What other series this weekend are you most intrigued? South Carolina will play Mississippi State tonight, so we'll see. I mean, that's a 6-0 against an 0-6 team.
Well, this is the most intriguing series, honestly, because it's for bad reasons. But I mean, how about Ole Miss and A&M? You got one team 0-6 who won the national championship last year. You got one team who was top 5 preseason. They were 1-5 in the SEC. This is really I won't use that phrase, but this is really cutting time for both these teams. I think when you look at both A&M and Ole Miss, I mean, if you lose that series this weekend, either of those clubs, I mean, I just don't see. I mean, you might make the postseason, but like your hopes of hosting a regional at that point are extremely slim. Because I mean, if you're Ole Miss, let's say you lose 2 out of 3 or get swept. Let's say you get swept, you're 0-9 in the league. And the same thing with A&M. Let's say you get swept, you got 8 losses in conference play already. Like, that's just a very difficult hole to crawl out of.
He's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Where are you going to be this weekend?
I'm actually going to go see East Carolina tomorrow night. One of the Trey Yesevich is one of the top pitchers in the country. He's pitching down at U of H. U of H has not had a great year, but I will probably not get another chance to East Carolina. And then if it's a rubber match, I'll probably go see Ole Miss and A&M because it might be writing an obituary for one of those teams at the end of the weekend.
That's a great point. Nobody does it better than D1 Baseball. You go to d1baseball.com. Great time to get a subscription, especially with this weekend, man, with LSU and Tennessee, with all the content that'll be flying around. You said Etheridge is going to be down here?
Yeah, Mark Etheridge, at Mark Etheridge on Twitter with D1 Baseball. He'll be there all weekend. So Mark actually wanted to get in on my beat and go actually cover LSU. So he said, hey, I know you covered LSU like 100 times. You mind if I can cover them? So he'll be over there for the weekend.
It's a great time to subscribe up to D1 Baseball. D1Baseball.com. Make sure you're following Kendall on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Okay, man. Enjoy the baseball this weekend, man. We appreciate you.
All right, Matt. Be good, buddy.
All right, be well. That's Kendall Rogers. Nobody does it better. Tennessee. It's just if there is a giant differentiator, and I would give Tennessee the edge on the mound. Their three-man rotation, the rotation as a whole has been better. Skeens has been the best of the 6 pitchers we're going to see this weekend. And look, I mean, Arkansas won the game that Skeens started, although they didn't beat Paul Skeens. I mean, they scored 1 run off of him, and then the deluge came in the 10th. But the big differentiator from LSU's perspective is the offense for LSU this year. It's not exactly what Tennessee's was a year ago. They hit 158 homers, whatever it was, but LSU's offense is relentless. Tennessee's this year hasn't been. They're 11th in the league in batting average. They're certainly not hitting with the power they were a year ago. Now it's a weekend at the box where the crowd's going to be against them. I mean, this feels like one of those weekends where, if you're LSU offensively, you got to go prove that. Look, we know you can go knock around, the Saturday guy from Arkansas, and you can score 17 against Grambling. Like, I don't mean to diminish what they did against Texas A&M, but you're going to see 3 legit dudes this weekend. Like, go do to them what great offenses should do, and start to get that answer here in about 90 minutes. 90 minutes of first pitch. LSU and Tennessee, game 1. Out at Alec Box Stadium. I'm hoping, normally they'll post the lineup about an hour before first pitch. So that would be after we're off air. I know that sometimes the lineup may leak out of the dugout. So we'll see if we can get a lineup before we get out of here. We'll run through it. I am very curious to see what Jay Johnson's going to do if he does load up the lineup with lefties against Dolander tonight. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You can always get to the website. You can learn more about the Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits of buying your tires at Shaw Bills. Every time you buy tires at Shaw Bills, a dozen benefits not only extended to your vehicle, but every vehicle in your family, even if you didn't buy those tires at Shaw Bills. They've been family-owned and operated since 1968, and they treat you like family because they are a family business. It's Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires, schedule service, find the location nearest you. 18 locations in all. It's ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, y'all. I have not gotten to. We haven't posted a poll question today. So have you posted one yet? Let's get a poll question going if we could. And I haven't had a chance to jump onto the text line yet today. We've just been jam-packed. If you missed anything, we've talked plenty of LSU, Tennessee. I gave you sort of a preamble to the series in hour number 1. We did get an LSU spring football practice report. In hour 2, we talked NFL win totals. DraftKings has updated their NFL win totals. Saints projected to win 9.5 games. That's their over-under, 9.5, leading the division. Both Atlanta and Carolina at 7.5, the Bucs at 6.5, bringing up the rear. We made fun of Scott Kushner, and we talked about who replaces Jamar Cain earlier this hour. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. You can always book your tee time at golf.breck.org. That's golf.breck.org. Also, one thing I should mention more often, they have great tournaments and other events at their courses. So if you go to the website, Paul, you can pull this up if you wouldn't mind, golf.breck.org. If you hit the tournaments tab at the top, you'll see the tournament schedule right there. So if you want to play some competitive golf, you can go register for any of the tournaments that they have coming up. Like the next one is coming up this weekend. It's the Webb Memorial Championship. It's 36 holes. It's stroke play. It's at Webb in Baton Rouge, April 1st and 2nd. So that's Saturday, Sunday. If you want to play, you can go register right now at golf.breck.org. Golf.breck.org. Just hit the tournament and schedules tab right there at the top, and you'll see a list of all the tournaments they have coming up. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if we can get the other starting lineup for LSU and Tennessee, give you some final thoughts there. We'd love to get some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets in, so fire away. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. If you are in need of a realtor, look no further than Darren James. I tell you every day, agent225.com, agent225.com. If you need a realtor, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone? When you have reviews like this, here's another 5-star review on Zillow from Darren. Personable, listens. We are repeat clients. Darren and his team are seasoned. They've been with Darren a long time. He's assisted in selling other family members' homes as well. So easy. That's the underscore word right there. Easy. For so many people, the home buying or home selling process becomes a stressful undertaking. Not with Darren James. Darren gets results. He does it quickly, and he makes this stress-free. You need a realtor? You need Darren James. Go to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Chuilli have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, that's why you come to LSU for a weekend like this, especially playing at Alex Box Stadium under the lights on a Thursday night. You know, a lot of people are going to be watching that game just because of, it's Tennessee versus LSU, and then they know who's playing too. So really looking forward to it. And again, that's the reason that you come to a school like this.
That is Paul Skeens. He'll have the ball in less than 90 minutes. LSU and Tennessee, game one. Opening day of the Major League Baseball season, but so much of our attention, obviously, is going to be on this LSU-Tennessee matchup. By the way, if you haven't seen it, T-Bob posted another video on social media a couple of years ago when LSU and Tennessee were going to played in the Super Regional. He posted what kind of amounted to like a WWE promo video, and it obviously backfired a little bit but to LSU lost. But the way that he riled up Tennessee fans has been fantastic. He placed all their insecurities. He posted another one. I had to play a little bit. It's about 90 seconds. You go to his Twitter. I would presume it's on his Instagram as well. But he's standing in his backyard wearing an LSU baseball jersey, holding a baseball bat. And, well, just listen. Just listen. Here you go. And apparently there's a lawnmower.
Well. If it ain't that rocky top singing, sloppy top slinging, sorry ass excuse for a school, Tennessee. Big bad Tony V and his tiny little PP couldn't even swing it past ND. Hey, let's me and you talk, Tennessee, and let's be honest. What do you really have to show for yourself? Oh, that celebrating, chest puffing, demonstrating. 25-5, and yet watching Omaha live from the couch. Because like I told you a couple of years ago, what are you but a little boy wearing mama's heels playing dress up in the kitchen? You do not belong here. You see, Alec Box, that's a hall of champions, not champions. So why don't you go ahead and get on? Do what you do best, lose when it matters most. Remember when you were guaranteed to make the college football playoff?
Okay, this is sort of the pace he goes on here for about a minute and a half. It's brilliantly done. I have a lot of questions. Did he write and memorize? He had to have written and memorized that.
I think he definitely wrote it. I mean, unless Alice Bob's off camera with cue cards, I would say he probably memorized it.
I don't think there's cue cards. His wife Caitlin has to be filming. She's a photographer, by the way. So like, there's this pan up. It starts at his feet, pans up to T-Bob there. Anyway, and it's very well written, and T-Bob is a really good writer. So I just wonder if he wrote this, memorized it, and then how many takes it took to do this as well. We saw him last night, and he wasn't talking about this at all.
No, he wasn't.
It's like he was going to do this. I mean, it's been posted for about an hour. It's all, let's see. My retweet has already been viewed 5,300 times. His original tweet has been viewed 23,000 times already. Like, over the course of this weekend, this is going to blow up. So go watch it. It's really well done. I need to know. I need answers to this. I presume he'll talk about this tomorrow on OTB.
Most likely.
And give some of that insight. So off the bench, Hester and T-Bob, weekdays 7 to 10, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Also New Orleans, Alexandria, and on 11:30 the Tiger up in Shreveport. So go catch the video if you haven't seen it yet. It's entertaining as hell. It's very, very well done. If you love seeing somebody absolutely take pot shots at a conference rival and play into all of their insecurities, T-Bob did that exceptionally well today. So go check that out. Lineup is posted. Let's take a look at it. LSU and Tennessee. The Tigers will line it up like this tonight. As we know, Paul Skeens is going to get the ball. Dugas will lead off and play second. Trey Morgan will be in left field and will bat second. Dylan Cruz in center will bat third. Tommy White will play third and bat cleanup. Cade Beloso will DH and bat fifth. Jared Jones in the lineup batting sixth. He'll play first base. Pearson back in right field will bat seventh. Jordan Thompson plays short, will bat eighth. And it's Brady Neal behind the plate catching and batting ninth. So Dugas, Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso, Jones, Pearson, Thompson, Neal. That's how they'll line it up tonight. Of the one surprise, Muso at the box, or Muso at the box. I guess when I talk about your show, I actually have to use your name correctly. and by the way, I mean that is a Skip Bertman line. Skip is the one that calls him Muso, which is why we all adopted it. And why else? Why wouldn't we? I mean, it's Skip Bertman. Did you talk at all about if Jay would go heavy with lefties?
I did. And Pearson was one of them. Beloso was one of them. The interesting thing for me was where he would play Morgan, because if you wanted to get Kling back in there or even Joe Bear in the outfield, you'd have to put Morgan at first. And then you'd either leave out Beloso or Jones. And honestly, if we're being honest in this point, it'd be Jones because Beloso's hitting the cover off the ball. And you could have Jones in a pinch hit role. But I like it. But I did. I thought heavy lefty would be the case. And obviously Neal as well. But that was just a rest day anyway on Tuesday.
I think we talked about it earlier. I figured Morgan would be in left because it opened up the option to put potentially Beloso at first and DH Joe Bear.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I thought he was going to do. So I'm a little surprised to see Jones in there. Jones has been really good. Don't misunderstand, but There is swing and miss there, but there is with
Joe Bear.
With Joe Bear, and both have power. It's just, do you want the lefty or the righty? I mean, I hate to say they're the same guy because, I mean, Joe Bear's hit damn near 20 homers in a season, so he's got more experience. He's been through these battles before, but I don't know. I kind of would have rather see the lefty in there instead of the righty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives you the same thing, though, too, a pinch hit bat that you trust late in the game as well. I mean, if you got a tough righty-righty matchup, you can bring him in.
Yeah.
And if you can change the scoreboard with one swing late in the game in the 8th, that's ideal.
If there's one thing, and this is where you sort of get into the nuance, into the weeds, if there's one thing as I think about it on this team that maybe they lack, it is a right-handed pinch hit bat. Yeah. Now, in this instance, you have Kling, not starting, but when Kling is starting, you really don't have a right-handed pinch hit bat that you trust. I mean, it's weird to say, but Milazzo potentially could be that. But I mean, he's hitting 400, but it's not a change the scoreboard option like you described.
No, it's not. I mean, one of the best things Alex has done, and I don't mean this as a slight. I mean, he's handled the bat really well in a bunt situation. I mean, they've asked him to do that 3 or 4 times this year. Squeeze bunt, like to score a run, not a sacrifice. So, I mean, maybe that's your option there. That's probably the way he changed the scoreboard most. I think Alex has like 3 home runs in his career or something like that.
He's done really well, man. I'm happy.
He's been
for
awesome.
Him. I think we talked about this. He worked a lot with Terrio last year before the season, and primarily what they worked on was letting the ball travel and going up the middle and the other way. And when you watch him hit, that's primarily what he's doing. He's not trying to do too much. He's just being patient, letting the ball travel. He's going up the middle, going the other way. He's getting on base, and it's working. So, but anyway, Neal getting the start tonight, and we'll see if we do see any Milazzo or any of the substitutes at times during the game. So anyway, Dugas, Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso, Jones, Pearson, Thompson, Neal is how the Tigers will line it up today against the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year, Chase Dolander, and the Tennessee Vols. Game 1, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Of course, you can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, all 3 games all weekend long. So ESPN tonight, SEC Network tomorrow, and then ESPN Plus or SEC Network Plus for Game 3 on Saturday. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Thursday shows are brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. By the way, if you're not yet, make sure you subscribe up to Musso at the Box daily during the season, usually dropping around 10 a.m. still is where when you drop. So 10 a.m. and no doubt we'll have a Game 1 recap tomorrow and a Game 2 preview. So make sure it's a good time to subscribe up to the pod. We got a lot of great stuff there at the Guaranteed Podcast Network. LSU Daily, Musso at the Box, Handycast with Charles Hannegriff, a daily podcast. So go check out all of our content there at the Guaranteed Podcast Network. All right, it is After Further Review. Final break of the show. We'll come back. Little Otter Locks, see what the Otter has for us. That's next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown Baton Rouge, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. You can't miss it. I don't know this for a fact, but so many opposing teams, when they come into Baton Rouge, generally stay there. Might very well be where Big Orange is staying. I don't know. I really don't know that. I don't know that. Don't know that at all. But maybe stake out the lobby, have a drink at Tallulah, wait and see who might roll through tonight around 11 o'clock or so. Not that I'm suggesting you do anything like Michael Jordan Last Dance Utah-esque, order them a pizza. I'm not saying that at all. It's the Renaissance Hotel. Gorgeous hotel. A true one of a kind. Every Renaissance property is truly unique to the market they're in. Like when you go into the lobby, if you notice the artwork right there at the front desk, that is a true to scale replica of the Mississippi River. So there's so much Louisiana culture interwoven into the Renaissance Hotel. And make sure you check out Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Yacht Father himself, Jimmy Yacht. Otter, how are you?
Oh, just me and about 800 of my closest friends here at the original Walk-On.
Yeah, let's go.
Can't complain. This is travel. There's too much travel for a lot of these remotes. So I scheduled Pin Bomb Monday, Mike Anderson's Tuesday, Modesto Wednesday, and Walk-Ons on Thursday.
so
his Fitbit total this week is like 20 steps. So.
His Fitbit total is 20 steps. That's so stupid. That's really good, though. All right. Hey, man, opening day. You gave us nothing yesterday.
Well, just please hear me out. It is not just me. 22 minutes before tip-off, we found out that Joel Embiid was playing. I mean, bro,
Hey, I can ball bust. It's my show. I will bust balls.
I gave you Sacramento money line. They only won by 40.
I got him. Yeah. All right. We got
Aubrey said Portland's rolling out right now. My goodness.
All right. What are we looking at tonight?
All right, the big thing you got to remember, which you open in, the pitchers are going like starting pitchers in Major League Baseball going about 5 innings. There's 2 ways you can play it. You can play Shohei Ohtani first 5, or I also have the Angels -1.5, -125 for the game. They're the visiting team. Only lay the run line on the road in case it goes extra innings. Got that ghost runner. the Oakland A's, by most accounts, have the worst rated bullpen also in Major League Baseball. So no surprise there. Maybe the worst lineup in baseball, maybe the first starting pitching. But, yeah, they have that one, too. Man, we missed one earlier. I was able to get it on it personally, Matt, but how good do the national fans feel about their team? Patrick Corbin, remember we faded him every time?
Yeah.
He was their opening day starter today. Tank, can you say? So, anyway, we're going with that.
Hey, real quick. Let me ask you a question. All right, so I played the Angels. I laid the run line, so I laid the 1.5. I'm looking at first five. Do we want to play money line first five or run line first five?
No, money line. Money line.
Right, money line on the first five. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna lock both those in then.
If you wanna, are you able to parlay first five?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And you can do an Angels first five with the Padres game money line. We're not going to lay the run line with them being at home. Also, NIT, OTT. Here we go, Musso. Give me a damn rewind submission, please, Musso.
I got you one, Otter. I got you. What you talking about?
Whenever I'm out, he said you don't give him submissions when I'm out.
North Texas plus 2.5. What do we do?
Buy it to 3.
Mean Green, Musso. Mean Green.
Mean Green. Oh my God. Is that the only one for?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's the championship. Okay.
Yeah. Colucci. Hold on, we got Colucci as well.
I can't even hear him.
He's got Devils in Nashville early. Don't forget it's 6 later tonight as well.
Wait, you said Devils in Nashville?
Yes, Nashville and New Jersey.
All right. Otter's coming up next from Walk-Ons on Burbank. Thank you, Otter. We'll see you tomorrow.
AFR.
Yelling Mean Green on his way. Is he a beauty? All right, we getting on down the road. Remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. That is the first time in the history of the show that the dismount of the show was some fool yelling, Mean Green! All right, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all. You know where their showroom is. The new corporate headquarters and showroom is now open and open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, no appointment needed. You want to go see the folks over at Relief Windows. They have associates there every single day ready to help you. If you want to go actually touch and feel the windows, you can. You want to open the doors, you can. You want to feel the siding, the hardy plank, the vinyl siding. Pick out your color. It's all there. It's at Relief Windows. You could always shop online as well at ReliefWindows.com. Experience, quality, service. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by